Chapter 31-38. Xia Wufeng and the others are as strong as the Monkey King, with 400,000 divine cosmos power. Compared to before, the increase is so huge that even they can't believe it is true. Qin Yun is also a bit depressed because he can't use this method to increase his power. Otherwise, he would have reached the 9th level of the divine space realm long ago. Of course, using the Divine King Heavenly Seal to increase his power can increase his upper limit. According to Taishi's estimation, when he reaches the 9th level of the divine space realm, his upper limit of divine cosmos power might reach 600,000 or even higher. The Divine King warriors in the other 2 treasure lands have returned to the Golden Claw treasure land. The people in charge of the 2 treasure lands were sent by the Divine presiding. With Tian Dao Zi and the Divine presiding guarding the Golden Claw treasure land, Qin Yun can rest assured. In the past 2 days, Qin Yun read the information Luo Yaya gave him about the Scorpio people. They have already occupied 3 treasure lands, and they're all very large. The powerful tribes in these treasure lands are not enslaved by the Scorpio people, but killed and eaten by them. From Luo Yaya's information, Qin Yun learned that the Scorpio people have a habit of not wearing armor, because they have armor on their lower body. Their upper body is human, so they're basically naked. Also, there are no women among the Scorpio people. They are all muscular males, and they reproduce by laying eggs. Qin Yun will bring 1,000 Divine King warriors to battle this time, together with Xia Wufeng, Su Xiaoba, Pippi, and the Monkey King. They will definitely be able to take the 3 treasure lands. After obtaining the treasure land, Qin Yun can use the lake in the treasure land to make more people stronger. The lakes of the dual heart race and the illusory pupil race have already been used once, so they can only be used again after a period of time. The divine universe golden stones in the 2 treasure lands were also being mined. As long as the myriad realms divine sun was still there and the boundary of the treasure lands was still there, even if the divine universe golden stones were mined out, they would grow again after a long time. This is the energy of the myriad world's divine sun, so the lakes can be regenerated. Xia Wufeng and the others have 2 superpower storing pearls. One is filled with divine cosmos power, which can be used to replenish energy. The other is filled with a special flame, the bloodline heavenly pattern fire Qin Yun extracted from the bloodline heavenly pattern box. When this kind of flame entered the Scorpio people's bodies, it could quickly burn their bodies and make it difficult for them to circulate their divine cosmos power. The arrows of the other god, king warriors, all had these pills refined from flames on them. The Scorpions will attack the Golden Claw treasure land again very soon. We will take the 3 treasure lands by surprise before they come, Qin Yun said. Master, the Scorpio people are a kingdom. Do they only have 3 treasure lands? Su Xiaoba asked. In his opinion, with so many people, 3 treasure lands would not be enough for him to fight to his heart's content. Su Xiaoba and Monkey King are the same. After obtaining great power, they want to fight all day long. Their main treasure land is in the 9 Sun sacred ground. Qin Yun said, in the 9 Sun sacred ground, places that can be called treasure lands are all super large mines. The 9 Sun sacred ground had changed greatly. Qin Yun had not entered it for a period of time, but it had undergone earth-shattering changes. In the future, the changes would be even greater. It would be a place where empires and kingdoms would gather, and there would also be many barbarian tribes. Other than that, there were also powerful clans in the 9 Sun sacred ground. After the appearance of the 8th divine sun, the super powerful clans that were born were mostly in the 9 Sun sacred ground. Those super powerful clans joined together to form a very powerful force. Even empires and kingdoms would not dare to easily provoke these powerful clans. All of this was mentioned by Luo Yaya in the intelligence report. After knowing this, Qin Yun understood why Princess Luo Shu wanted to obtain the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Because the Divine King Heavenly Seal could summon all the clans in the Divine Desolate. After the appearance of the 90,000 universe Divine Sun, even more powerful clans would appear in the 9 Sun sacred ground. If they could summon these powerful clans, they would truly be able to dominate the divine desolate. Everyone is ready. Let's set off. Once we are strong enough, we will definitely enter the Nine Sun sacred ground. Qinyan said. He took out the heaven-leaping shuttle and loaded everyone inside. After leaving the Golden Claw treasure land, he immediately traveled through space and arrived at a treasure land of the Scorpio people. Luo Yaya's intelligence report did not mention what kind of treasure land it was, because when she was collecting the information, the original powerful clans of the treasure land had already been exterminated. Qin Yun's heaven-leaping shuttle quickly arrived above the treasure land. He released several heavenly eye avatars to cover the entire treasure land and check the distribution of the Scorpio people inside the treasure land. Those mining are all Scorpio people. They are all trash of the Scorpio kingdom who have not reached the divine space realm of birth. There are a lot of them. There are a total of 20,000 Scorpio people mining. There are 1,000 regular warriors. Your arrows can be used to deal with those super warriors. Those mining trash can be easily killed, so there's no need to use bows and arrows. Qinyan said. The Scorpio people are very arrogant and lazy, so they do not patrol. They believe that if there is an enemy, they can quickly annihilate the enemy. Qin Yun used the Divine King Heavenly Seal and the Primal Beginning Divine Mirror to open the entrance with great difficulty and let the heaven-leaping shuttle fly in. When the entrance was opened, it caused a lot of movement, causing the Scorpio warriors inside the treasure land to be vigilant. They do not have warriors of the level of the dominant dragon army. Qinyan said. 1,000 divine king warriors have already appeared in the sky. The Monkey King tightly grasped its long rod, came out of the heaven-leaping shuttle, landed on the ground, and rushed into the group of Scorpio warriors. Su Xiaoba did not even use his weapon. He is just a bit slower than the Monkey King. Xia Wufeng and Ba Tain are beside Qin Yun to protect him. They did not go down to fight, they also don't need them. The weapons of the Divine King warriors have been infused with bloodline heavenly rune flame, so it is very easy for them to deal with the Scorpio warriors. The 1,000 regular Scorpio warriors were very quickly swept away by the Divine King warriors. Qin Yun landed on the battlefield, waved his hand, and stored all the corpses into the Nether Sun Pearl. Although the Scorpio warriors are poisonous, Xiaohua is here. Moreover, Ling Yuner and the others have been infused with that kind of medicinal liquid, so they're not afraid of the poison. Furthermore, Zi Qingsheng and Shui Tianzi made a special large furnace and placed the corpses on it. Then Yang Yang will spit out fire and burn the corpses. In the end, only the divine universe, heavenly bone, will be left. Next, it is time to kill the 20,000 Scorpio people who are mining. These 20,000 Scorpio people participated in the slaughter of the powerful races in this treasure land. They did not expect that not long after, it will be their turn to be slaughtered. In just 2 hours, Qin Yun took down the treasure land and controlled the barrier around it. He called over the divine inscription gates, Vice Sect Master Xiao Hua, and asked him to strengthen the barrier of the treasure land. He also asked in Wukong and Space God to come and set up a teleportation formation. The more treasure lands there are, the more divine universe golden stones he will be able to obtain in the future. Qin Yun already has several treasure lands in his hands. He will be able to obtain a large amount of divine universe golden stones very soon. We will take over 3 treasure lands of the Scorpio kingdom in one night. Qin Yun started the heaven-leaping shuttle and headed towards the next treasure land occupied by the Scorpio people. Chapter 31-39. Although the Scorpio kingdom and the Exotic Cat kingdom cooperated with the Crown Prince, their relationship was not good. The current Crown Prince of Great Luo did not need the support of other kingdoms. Therefore, if the Scorpio kingdom fought with Qin Yun and suffered a crushing defeat, the Crown Prince of Great Luo would not send troops. Therefore, the Scorpio kingdom would not have any help. Qin Yun learned about this from Luo Yaya's information, but he did not completely agree with it. According to his understanding, although these kingdoms had always been suppressed by the empires, they had developed for many years and had a strong foundation. Even the empires could not destroy these kingdoms in a short period of time. These kingdoms had a certain amount of strength, and it was very likely that the Taisher factions would come into contact with them to make use of the power of these kingdoms. The Taisher factions lacked manpower, and the kingdoms had a large number of troops. It was most suitable for the Taisher factions to cooperate with the kingdoms or empires. At night, Qin Yun used the heaven-leaping shuttle to quickly reach the treasured lands occupied by the Scorpio Kingdom. He just finished attacking one and let the soldiers rest for a while before immediately attacking the second one. Not long after, he took down the second treasure land occupied by the Scorpio Kingdom. The inscription masters of the inscription gate were still in the previous treasure land. After they reinforced the barrier of the treasure land, they would come over. And Wukong, the god of space, and many elders of the alien void tribe followed Qin Yun. After taking down a treasure land, they quickly built a teleportation formation in that treasure land. These treasure lands were not guarded by the powerful Scorpio soldiers. The powerful Scorpio soldiers had all been transferred to the Nine Sun Sacred Land. For the empires and kingdoms, the powerful soldiers should go to the Nine Sun Sacred Land. Staying outside was a waste. The Nine Sun Sacred Land was very rich in resources, but Qin Yun was not in a hurry. He planned to completely control the outside world and eradicate the tyrannical kingdoms and empires outside. It would not be too late to enter the Nine Sun Sacred Land after that. In one night, the 3 treasure lands of the Scorpio Kingdom were taken down by Qin Yun and the Divine King Army. This news only reached the Scorpio Kingdom at daybreak. They did not expect that Qin Yun would take the initiative to attack their Scorpio Kingdom. Did he want to start a war with the Scorpio Kingdom? The Scorpio Kingdom failed to attack the Golden Claw treasure land and made a fool of themselves. They were thinking about how to regain their face, but they did not expect to lose 3 treasure lands. After capturing those 3 treasure lands, Qin Yun collected over 10,000 Divine Universe Gold Stones. He took out half of them for the God King warriors to cultivate. They needed to consume a massive amount of Divine Universe Gold Stones to strengthen their own Divine Universe Heavenly Bones. Qin Yun had previously used up all the Divine Universe Gold Stones he had while cultivating. Now, he had earned another 500 billion, and there would be even more in the future. Apart from the Golden Claw Treasure Land's Divine Cosmos Goldstone, the other 5 treasure lands had already started mining the Divine Cosmos Goldstone. Every once in a while, Qin Yun would be able to collect a large number of Divine Universe Goldstones. It was temporarily enough for him to cultivate and also enough for the God King army to strengthen the Divine Universe Heavenly Bone. Su Xiaoba and the Monkey King used a lot of strength. They fought to their heart's content, but they are also very tired. After returning, they found a place to sleep. Killing a large number of Scorpios also allowed Qin Yun to obtain a large number of Divine Universe Heavenly Bones. He still had over 3 million genes of Divine Universe Heavenly Bone in his hands. However, this was far from enough for him. Inside the Golden Claw Treasure Land, the Divine Mountain of Inscription had already arrived. The 9 Yang Divine Palace and the Imperial Heaven Pawnshop were both in the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Qin Yun took out many blueprints and had them cooperate with each other to create a large number of cannons with Divine Universe Heavenly Bones. It is impossible to create a fleet in a short period of time, so the next step is to focus on defense. Before, Qin Yun entrusted Long Jin Chuan to have the 9 Dragon Kingdoms refiners use a large number of Divine Universe Heavenly Bones to create 10 furnaces. These furnaces are 2 meters tall, and each one is made from 20,000 genes of Divine Universe Heavenly Bones. They are very sturdy. Now, Long Jin Chuan has sent people to deliver the furnaces. Qin Yun used the God King Heavenly Seal and Primal Beginning Divine Mirror, then imprinted a large number of formidable heavenly runes into the furnaces. He also used the God King Heavenly Seal to bestow the furnaces with abilities. After Qin Yun carved runes into these furnaces, they possess the formidable abilities of the Pill Transformation Heavenly Furnace. Of course, these furnaces do not refine pills, but cannonballs or bullets. Although these furnaces cannot compare to the pill transformation heavenly furnace, they are more than enough to refine cannonballs. The explosive materials for the cannonballs are flames refined from the bloodline heavenly pattern box by Qin Yun, as well as a very strong explosive power. He refined a lot of them and gave them to Xiao Hua so that Xiao Hua can arrange for inscription masters to refine them into cannonballs. The Golden Claw Treasure Land and the other 5 treasure lands are enough to operate 10 furnaces to refine cannonballs. The energy in these treasure lands is very important, so Qin Yun attaches great importance to it. He made the inscription gate strengthen the barrier around the treasure land. Next, Qin Yun frantically made awakening talismans. These are the awakening talismans for the 5th generation bloodline heavenly pattern. Although they are called awakening talismans, the bloodline heavenly pattern can be said to be bestowed by Qin Yun. Qin Yun wants to let Divine Judge, White Death, and the other patriarchs of the various clans choose the most outstanding warriors from their clans. He wants to let some of them obtain the 5th generation bloodline heavenly pattern first. He wants to gather 30,000 warriors with the 5th generation bloodline heavenly pattern first. These warriors will be equipped with sturdy armor and all kinds of cannons. Even if they face the warriors from the various kingdoms, they will not be afraid. The warriors of the empires and kingdoms are all equipped with sturdy armor. In addition, they are all temporarily above the 9th level divine space realm. But now their cultivation has regressed. If they fight in close combat against these warriors, they will suffer great losses unless they have a strong enough body and high enough divine cosmos power. Therefore, Qin Yun wants to fight from a distance. He will use cannons and cannons to break through the enemy's defense without consuming the warrior's divine cosmos power. Then he will get close and reap the harvest. Qin Yun has many bloodline heavenly pattern boxes. By refining the energy of these boxes, he can make the cannonballs and bullets even more powerful. A small part of the power of the bloodline heavenly pattern box has already been excavated by Qin Yun. When used together with the Divine King heavenly seal, the effect is the best. Long Shu has already mastered the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. She came to the Golden Claw Treasure Land from Divine Moon Clan with Long Xiaofeng, Long Yuqing, and Long Tianji. Since she cultivates the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra, she naturally wants to find Qin Yun to test out other techniques. She has been longing for it ever since she started learning the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra. After Long Shu tormented Qin Yun in all kinds of ways, she finally entered the Golden Claw Treasure Lands lake with satisfaction. Long Xiaofeng, Long Yuqing, and Long Tianji also entered the lake and began the transformation process. Moreover, they are also operating the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra under the lake. Qin Yun just took down 3 treasure lands. He can let people go down and cultivate to become stronger. These 3 treasure lands are all similar to the Golden Claw Treasure Land. The lake inside the treasure lands is very big. It is not a problem for 3 people to go down at once. Qin Yun let Qin Zhong, Qin Yi, and Qin Sheng enter one of the treasure lands. They're all upper echelons of the empire. Their foundation is very good. They could become even stronger. Chapter 3140. Qin Yun needed people who could fight. Therefore, it was best for people who entered the lake to become stronger, to be battle maniacs. It's best if it has the ability to cause mass destruction. Taisher suggested, that kind of lake has great potential. After entering the lake, it is equivalent to absorbing the energy of the entire treasure land to transform it. At the same time, there is also the help of the myriad worlds divine Sunday. Qin Yun thought for a moment and quickly recalled his Sky Universe Overlord and Divine Inscription Mountain. The Divine Rune Mountain is in the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Not only can this mountain transform, it also possesses all kinds of abilities. Inside the Divine Inscription Mountain, there are many spaces. It can be said that it is a treasure mountain comparable to the Heavenly Law Altar. Let Inscription Divine Mountain and Sky Universe Overlord enter. If Sky Universe Overlord and Sky Universe Overlord are strong enough, they will be able to cause large-scale destruction to all kinds of armies. Qin Yun said, With the help of the little black donkey, it could even transform into the black tortoise, possessing an extremely strong defense. There was also an azure dragon inside the divine mountain. When needed, the divine mountain could also turn into an azure dragon. Although Qin Yun was not in the divine inscription mountain, he would occasionally go and learn about the situation of the divine inscription mountain. Furthermore, Shimen Dazhuang was often at the divine inscription mountain. When he saw Qin Yun, he would talk nonstop about the situation of the divine inscription mountain. Old mountain, the divine inscription mountain, might need to go out to fight. Are you still used to using the divine inscription mountain to fight? Qin Yun entered the divine inscription mountain. There was not much change inside. It filled Qin Yun with many beautiful memories. No problem, the divine inscription mountain has many secret weapons. The mountain god's head drilled out from a large rock. That large rock is his throne. 500,000 genes of divine universe heavenly bone can be fused into the inscription divine mountain in a short period of time. It can make the inscription divine mountain even stronger. Qin Yun said, in the future, the inscription divine mountain will have to face the warships of the kingdom. 500,000 genes of divine universe heaven bone? It's enough, it's enough. Mountain God took a deep breath and said with smile, Sect Master, don't forget the ability of the divine mountain. The devouring ability of the divine mountain was extremely terrifying. Qin Yun immediately brought the divine inscription mountain and entered a large lake in a treasure land. Then, he went to another treasure land. This time, he placed the Sky Universe Overlord as well as 500,000 divine universe heavenly bones. The celestial universe overlord that had been strengthened by 500,000 divine universe heavenly bones combined with the divine tool in Qin Yun's hands would be able to destroy that Sora battleship. 7 days have passed since Qin Yun captured the 3 treasure lands of Scorpio Kingdom. In the past 7 days, the news had spread everywhere. However, all the treasured lands under Qin Yun's control were very quiet. No Scorpios came to attack. The Scorpions had suffered a crushing defeat when they attacked the Golden Claw treasure land and lost 3 treasure lands, but now they didn't do anything else. Many people were not surprised, because it was very likely that the Scorpio Kingdom was mobilizing its army to wipe out all of Qin Yun's treasure lands. Luo Yaya is just outside the Golden Claw treasure land. When Qin Yun learned of her arrival, he immediately went out with Ba Taiyin and Monkey King. Missy, what intelligence did you bring this time? Asked Qin Yun with a smile. Luo Yaya was still the same. She did not take off her mask, and she looked cold. She took out a small booklet and handed it to Qin Yun. She said, the Scorpio Kingdom's movements are not small. They are currently gathering their army, but they are not attacking your treasured land. Oh, I have been waiting for them for the past few days. Qin Yun was somewhat surprised. The kingdoms and empires are mainly concentrated in the 9-Sun Holy Land. Luo Yaya said, the Divine Desolate has been expanding, and the 9-Sun Holy Land is also expanding. Moreover, the huge passage in the center of the 9-Sun Holy Land is crazily devouring the energy of other universes. In that case, the empires and kingdoms of other universes entered the Divine Desolate through that passage, right? Said Qin Yun. Not only that, after the fusion of multiple universes, the myriad worlds Divine Sun and the Divine Desolate will obtain the energy of multiple universes. Luo Yaya said, the majority of the power that the other universes take back from living beings will become very powerful. They will make the myriad worlds Divine Sun even stronger. Qin Yun said with a bitter smile, what's the use of the myriad worlds Divine Sun becoming stronger? We will forever be limited to the Divine Space Realm. Although we are all limited to the Divine Space Realm, we can use large amounts of resources to make ourselves stronger and constantly surpass our limits. Luo Yaya said, Qin Yun, although the Scorpio Kingdom does not plan to take revenge now, you must guard against them. What about the Taisher forces? Will the Taisher forces target me? Qin Yun asked. They are very arrogant. They don't put anyone in their eyes. Unless you provoke them, they will not personally take action. At most, They will borrow the hands of others to deal with you. Luo Yaya said. Is there any movement from Strange Cat King's side? Qin Yun asked. Strange Cat King's battleships are in the dark, distant sky. Some of them have entered the Nine-Sun Holy Land, but most of them are still in the distant sky. They are waiting for their power to be taken back by the universe's lost spirit. Then they will find a good opportunity to attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Luo Yaya said. After all, she is responsible for gathering intelligence by Princess Luo Shu's side. She is originally a person of the Empire, so it is very easy for her to gather intelligence about the kingdom. Many thanks for Sister Yaya's information, Qin Yun said with a smile. How should I thank you? No need to thank me. Goodbye. Luo Yaya finished speaking, then turned around and left. Qin Yun originally wanted to say a few more words to her, but she said she would leave. Qin Yun looked at the booklet Luo Yaya gave him. It has detailed records of the movements of several armies of the Scorpio Kingdom. Those armies are quite far away from the Golden Claw Treasure Land. There is no army of the Scorpio Kingdom near the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Has the Scorpio Kingdom really given up on attacking the Golden Claw Treasure Land? Qin Yun said with a frown. This won't do. If they don't attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land, where can I go to find the Divine Universe Heavenly Bone? Although he obtained a lot of Divine Universe Heavenly Bones before, he used them very quickly. He flipped through the booklet and discovered that the army of the Scorpio Kingdom is very close to the army of the Great Luo Empire. It is very likely that the Scorpio Kingdom is responsible for supporting the army of the Great Luo Empire. Could it be that the Great Luo Empire discovered something? But they are not in the Nine-Sun Holy Land. Qin Yun felt that it is somewhat strange. He could determine that the goal of the Scorpio Kingdom and the Great Luo Empire is the same. The army of the Scorpio Kingdom is very far away from the Golden Claw Treasure Land, but it is very easy for me to go there. I will bring some people to harass them, provoke them, and make them come all the way here to attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land. When the army of the Scorpio Kingdom arrived near the Golden Claw Treasure Land, Qin Yun's side is almost ready. Qin Yun learned from Luo Yai's information that Strange Cat King is waiting for an opportunity to attack. And he began thinking about how to disrupt Strange Cat King's plan and force him to dispatch a part of his fleet in a situation where he is unprepared. This requires the cooperation of the Scorpio Kingdom. Chapter 3141. Qin Yun became very anxious when he learned that the Scorpio Kingdom had no intention of attacking the Golden Claw Treasure Land. He needed a large number of Divine Universe Heavenly Bones, and he also needed the Exotic Cat Kingdom to know that he had started a war with the Scorpio Kingdom. If the Exotic Cat King knew that Qin Yun and the Scorpio Kingdom both suffered heavy losses, he would definitely not sit still. Exotic Cat King had suffered a few losses before, so he became very cautious and would not easily attack. They had to wait for all the cat ear people's cultivation to regress so that they could go to the Divine Desolate. Only then would he mobilize the strongest cat ear people to attack. This way they would be absolutely safe. If this was the case, Qin Yun would face great pressure. Therefore, he had to think of a way to disrupt the Exotic Cat King's cautious plan and lure him to attack ahead of time. In addition, Qin Yun had to prepare for the Scorpio Kingdom's attack. If they didn't come, wouldn't his preparations be in vain? Qin Yun ordered to speed up the production of cannons and shells. He was worried that the Divine Inscription Mountain was not strong enough, so he added 500,000 genes of Divine Universe Heavenly Bones to the lake. Then he contacted the Nine Dragon Kingdom and asked them to provide more high-quality materials to the lake for the Divine Inscription Mountain to devour. The Divine Inscription Mountain was used to deal with the Scorpio Kingdom. If it was strong enough, he only needed to use the Divine Inscription Mountain. The Nine Dragon Kingdom could provide a large number of materials to Qin Yun. Qin Yun knew that the Nine Dragon Kingdom did not lack Divine Universe Goldstones. If he wanted to repay them in the future, he could only use the Awakening Talisman. The Awakening Talisman could greatly increase the overall strength of the Nine Dragon Kingdom. Of course, Qin Yun did not plan to make a large number of Awakening Talismans in the future because it would require too many. He planned to make an awakening tool for the people of the Nine-Dragon Kingdom. It was like a huge altar. As long as they sent people inside, they would place the Divine Universe Goldstone inside and activate the runes inside. They would be able to obtain the Bloodline Heavenly Rune. Qin only brought 500 God King warriors with him. He left 500 God King warriors to guard the few treasure lands. There were teleportation formations between the treasure lands, so they could quickly provide support. From Luo Yi's information, the Scorpio Kingdom and the Crown Prince of Great Luo were stationed outside the Nine Sun Sacred Land. According to Luo Yi's information, the Scorpio Kingdom and the Crown Prince of Great Luo Kingdom were working together to do something important. Qin guessed that there had to be something outside the Nine Sun Sacred Ground that was worth the Crown Prince of Zenith Luo and the Scorpio Kingdom's army. Luo Yaya did not tell Qin about this. She only let Qin know that the Scorpio Kingdom will not attack the Golden Claw treasure land in the near future. Qin is not stupid. He can tell with a glance that the Scorpio Kingdom must have been delayed by something even more important. That's why they didn't attack the Golden Claw treasure land. Inside the heavenly leaping shuttle, Qin began formulating his battle plan. Xia, Brother Ba, you'll need to participate in the battle as well. I can protect myself. Qin said, this is a sneak attack. We don't want to annihilate the enemy. Our main goal is to attack the core of their army and harass them crazily. Qin Zhong and his two brothers were all in the lake, and without them, there wouldn't be enough powerful main forces. Xiao Wufeng and Ba Taiying are very strong, and their main task is to protect Qin. With them fighting, it will be even easier. Xiaoba, little monkey, don't keep fighting. Capture the enemy's general and retreat. Qin said, don't fight for too long. Master, don't worry. We will listen to you this time. Although Su Xiaoba is normally very domineering, he is very obedient in front of Qin. After all, Qin is his master. Moreover, Qin made him so strong, he naturally has to give his master some face. There is no need to talk about Monkey King. When needed, he can suppress his manic evil nature. Pippi Pig did not come with Qin. He stayed behind to guard the Golden Claw treasure land. Pippi Pig's battle power is not very strong, but his other aspects are very dreadful. He has very strong defense. Late at night, the heavenly leaping shuttle arrived near a secret military camp of the Scorpio Kingdom. Qin did not immediately attack. Instead, he went to investigate the situation. He gave Xiao Wufeng some invisibility talismans and asked him to investigate the situation in the barracks and test the overall defenses of the barracks. Not long after, Xiao Wufeng returned. They're all people who once surpassed the divine space realm, but their strength is very ordinary. They can't even compare to divine king warriors. Xiao Wufeng said in grave tone, divine king warriors who obtained 5th generation bloodline heavenly rune, coupled with their equipment, are very strong. How many people do they have in total? Qin asked. 30,000 in total. Their vigilance is very low. We can attack. Xiao Wufeng said, directly take care of their general. You guys go together and capture their general as much as possible. Qin said, Xiao Wufeng and others are as strong as the Tyrant Dragon warriors. Moreover, they all have bloodline heavenly rune flame. It is very effective against the Scorpio people. Late at night, Xiao Wufeng, Monkey King, Ba Taiying, and Su Xiaoba used invisibility talismans to sneak into the military camp and arrived outside the largest tent. From outside, they can clearly sense the strength of the Scorpio people inside. They should be the strongest in this military camp. Xiao Wufeng and Ba Taiying used mysterious penetration divine ability talisman and smoothly rushed inside. The tent is very luxurious. There's a very large Scorpio person inside. This Scorpio person is very vigilant. He immediately sensed people coming in and let out a roar that shook the entire military camp. At this time, Monkey King and Su Xiaoba rushed inside. Xiao Wufeng and Ba Taiying have already attacked. Monkey King and Su Xiaoba rushed inside and immediately attacked. For people surrounded the general. Qin is on the heaven leaping shuttle. He can see that Xia Wufeng and others have joined hands to heavily injure the general with great difficulty. He cannot help but feel greatly alarmed. This general is much stronger than he imagined. He thought that if Xia Wufeng and others joined hands, they would be able to capture the general in an instant. Fortunately, Ba Taiying and others are very strong. Moreover, they have bloodline heavenly rune flame that can restrain the Scorpio people. They quickly injured the general and sealed him inside a storage divine tool. After capturing the general, other Scorpio soldiers crazily rushed over. Su Xiaoba and Monkey King crazily attacked all around them. Their tyrannical divine cosmos power erupted in a flash, shaking heaven and earth, and sent the Scorpio soldiers rushing, overflying. "Go!" Xia Wufeng shouted. Su Xiaoba did not continue to fight. He immediately retreated. Qin Yun controlled the heaven-leaping shuttle and flew over to pick them up. Then he shouted loudly, "Scorpio Kingdom, this is the result of provoking me. Qin Yun, just wait. The good show is yet to come. Prepare to receive my revenge." The heaven-leaping shuttle flew away in a flash, causing the Scorpio soldiers below to be incomparably shocked. Naturally, they know who Qin Yun is. He is the one who killed 300 of their elite soldiers. Moreover, he also stole their 3 treasure lands and killed a large number of their Scorpio people. Now, he actually rushed into their military camp and captured their general. This is provoking their Scorpio kingdom again and again. It is equivalent to ruthlessly stepping on their Scorpio kingdom's face. Chapter 3142. Although Scorpio Kingdom's army is cooperating with Daoyuo Crown Prince, this is a very confidential matter. Other kingdoms don't know about it. Otherwise, other kingdoms wouldn't dare to send spies to spy on Scorpio Kingdom's army. Even if it is a secret operation, it was still discovered by the spies of other kingdoms. It is a very normal thing for kingdoms to spy on each other. Therefore, the news of Scorpio Kingdom's army camp being attacked by Qin Yun and their general being captured quickly spread to the ears of the kings of other kingdoms. Qin Yun's actions in Divine Desolate are very important to the kings. Especially the information about Qin Yun's war with other kingdoms, they must immediately report it to the kings. Princess Luo Shu should be the first to know. Moreover, it was Luo Yaya who told her. "Yaya, didn't you tell Qin Yun that Scorpio Kingdom's army won't attack Golden Claw Treasure Land?" Princess Luo Shu was very surprised when she heard the news. "I told him about it. I told him very clearly that the troops of the Scorpio Kingdom are very far away from the Golden Claw Treasure Land, and their recent movements will not target the Golden Claw Treasure Land." Luo Yaya cursed in a low voice, who knew that he would take the initiative to provoke the Scorpio Kingdom. Qin Yun knows that Scorpio Kingdom won't retaliate in the near future, but he still took the initiative to provoke them. It seems like he wants Scorpio Kingdom to attack Golden Claw Treasure Land. Princess Luo Shu said, "Golden Claw Treasure Land must be prepared to defend against the attack of Scorpio soldiers." Qin Yun has already arranged everything and is just waiting for the Scorpio people to jump in. Then Qin Yun won't fight against Exotic Cat Kingdom? Exotic Cat King's fleet is also very scary, Luo Yaya said in surprise. Qin Yun must have something to rely on, so he is not afraid of Exotic Cat King's fleet. Princess Luo Shu said, "Let's just wait and see. Pay attention to the Crown Prince's movements." "Yes," Luo Yaya nodded. Exotic Cat King is still in the deep space. He learned through the magic mirror that a general of Scorpio Kingdom was captured. He is also very surprised. That general is not weak. He is very famous in Scorpio Kingdom. I didn't expect that after his cultivation fell to Divine Space Realm, he would be so weak that he was captured by Qin Yun. The one who spoke is Exotic Cat King's general. This army of the Scorpions is not weak. Every one of their warriors once surpassed the Divine Space Realm, but they still failed to protect their general, which means that Qin Yun's most powerful force is at the top of the Divine Space Realm. Strange Cat King said with grave expression, "Qin Yun is getting stronger and stronger. He is even stronger than when we attacked Peacock Treasure Land last time." "Your Majesty, Qin Yun has repeatedly provoked the Scorpio Kingdom. This is a good thing. Let's see how long the Scorpio Kingdom can endure. The general said with a smile. Once the Scorpio Kingdom attacks the Golden Claw treasured land and both sides suffer, it will be very advantageous for us. Cat King narrowed his eyes as if he was thinking about something. The Scorpio people are even crazier than us, and their temper is even worse than ours. Their revenge doesn't last overnight. However, when they attacked the Golden Claw treasured land, they suffered a crushing defeat and even lost face. Yet they didn't attack the Golden Claw treasured land again. Don't you think that there's something fishy about this? Your Majesty is wise. Please dispel my doubts. The general said. Obviously, there's something more important that forced the Scorpio people to give up attacking the Golden Claw treasured land. It is most likely related to the Crown Prince of Deluo. If that's the case, then Qin Yun must know about it. That's why he deliberately provoked the Scorpio people and forced them to attack the Golden Claw treasured land. The general thought carefully and said with a frown, Qin Yun set up a trap for the Scorpio people to jump into. The question is, why is Qin Yun so familiar with the Scorpio people's actions? Cat King is very puzzled. Menkai, Your Majesty, there must be some Scorpio people who have been captured, just like that bastard Menkai. The general said. It seems like Qin Yun is well prepared. If he wants to fight the Scorpio people head-on, can his Golden Claw treasured land really block it? Cat King said with a sneer. Even if it can block it, the Golden Claw treasured land will be ruined. He has no choice but to give up the Golden Claw treasured land. He now has several treasured lands in his hands, so he is not afraid of losing the Golden Claw treasured land. Your Majesty, does the Crown Prince of Deluo look down on our cat kingdom? Why didn't he call us for a secret operation? The general is somewhat unhappy. That should be a secret. The more people involved, the harder it is to keep it a secret. Crown Prince of Deluo can do whatever he wants. Anyway, we don't need to rely on Deluo Empire in Divine Desolate. We could be completely independent. Cat King said with a smile. In Divine Desolate, everyone's cultivation is the same. And Deluo Empire has a few other empires to keep us in check. They will definitely not suppress us. The general laughed and said, We finally got rid of the evil hands of Deluo Empire. As long as we develop in Divine Desolate, we might be able to establish our own empire in the future. Cat King is also ambitious. He has been toyed with by Deluo Empire for too long. Now that the middle and upper echelons have been suppressed back to the divine space realm, the gap between them will not be too big, so there is nothing to be afraid of. Qin Yun captured a general of Scorpio Kingdom. He was released from the heaven-leaping shuttle. At first, he was very stubborn and refused to say anything. But after being tortured by Qin Yun, he finally knelt down. What kind of operation did Crown Prince of Deluo Empire ask you to participate in? Qin Yun asked. I can't say. There's a soul contract. I can only tell you that this operation is very important to Deluo Crown Prince. That is why we delayed the attack on Golden Claw Treasure Land. Qin Yun took out the Spirit Creation Heavenly Cauldron and placed it on the general's head. He sucked out his soul and then used the Spirit Creation Heavenly Cauldron to erase the soul contract. You can speak now, Qin Yun said. The general is shocked. This kind of powerful soul contract was easily erased by Qin Yun, just like that. Deluo Crown Prince discovered something deep underground. He did not tell us what it is, but my guess is that it has something to do with Taisher factions. The general said, Something to do with Taisher factions? Qin Yun did not expect that there would be such a thing deep underground in Divine Desolate. Because Divine Desolate was formed later, it cannot be considered as a land that existed during the ancient era. If there really is something related to Taisher factions, it means that Divine Desolate is hiding a very shocking secret. When Divine Desolate was formed, this was originally Divine Desolate land. At that time, it absorbed a lot of land and fused together to form it. There is a Taisher faction behind the Crown Prince. We're guessing that the Taisher faction told the Crown Prince to look for it. The general said, The Crown Prince wants us Scorpio people to go to the front and scout. Chapter 31:43. Qin Yin did not want to clash with the Crown Prince now. The Crown Prince was still very powerful. If the Crown Prince joined forces with the Scorpio people to attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land, he would be under a lot of pressure. Will the Crown Prince help your kingdom attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land? Qin Yin asked. Absolutely not. The Crown Prince used the Tyrannosaurus warriors and Dragon warriors, but failed to take you down. He won't continue using them now. His main forces will be invested in the Nine Sun Sacred Ground. To him, the Nine Sun Sacred Ground's benefits are very important. If he wastes his energy on you, he might leave Princess Luo Shu behind, the general said. Like now, I'm harassing your kingdom, but the Crown Prince of Daluo won't help? Qin Yin asked. No, we are nothing in the Crown Prince's eyes. If we don't lead the way, they will find other people in the empire. The general said, Our king just wants to show his loyalty, so he is very attentive to this matter. Universe Lost Spirit, take back your power. Be it empires or kingdoms, the strongest experts are only at the divine space realm. Why is your Scorpio king sucking up to the Crown Prince? Qin Yin found it strange. Because of the Taisher faction. Our king's ultimate goal is to rely on the Taisher faction. The general said, the Taisher faction can make us stronger in the divine space realm. With the help of the Taisher faction, our lifespans will be longer. Being restricted to the divine space realm and unable to increase one's realm, one's lifespan would not be able to increase. The mysterious Taisher faction must have a lot of techniques that could extend people's lifespans. They also had other secret techniques that could make people stronger. That was why the Scorpio King sucked up to them. After Qin Yin obtained the information he wanted, he restrained the general and locked him up temporarily. He might be useful in the future. At that moment, the sky-leaping shuttle had arrived at another camp of the Scorpio people and started attacking. They killed many Scorpio warriors and even killed the enemy's general. The Scorpio people did not know where the Crown Prince was exploring. When they wanted to go, they would be taken away on the ship. They did not know where they were. In one night, Qin Yin led Xia Wufeng and the others to harass several important camps of the Scorpions and beheaded their generals, which made the Scorpions furious. The irascible Scorpions were completely infuriated. They were people from the middle class, yet they were constantly provoked by Qin Yin, who was from the lower class, in the divine wilderness. The Sky Scorpio King also knew that he couldn't act together with the Crown Prince this time because their whereabouts had been exposed. Qin Yin has completely infuriated the Scorpio King. The Sky Scorpio King immediately announced to gather the army and attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Qin Yin was also very curious as to what secrets the Crown Prince of Great Luo was seeking. He knew that Princess Luo Shu definitely knew the inside story, even more so than the Scorpio King. Of course, Princess Luo Shu would definitely not tell him. This was a very important secret. After confirming that the Scorpio King wants to attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land, Qin Yin felt relieved and immediately returned to the Golden Claw Treasure Land. After all, the Scorpio Kingdom was a kingdom of the middle class. It had stood in the universe for many years and had a population of several hundred million. Currently, only a small portion of them had reached God Desolate, and they were the Scorpio Kingdom's main fighting force. They were all warriors, and there were millions of them. The Sky Scorpio King definitely wouldn't dispatch millions of soldiers at once. To the arrogant Sky Scorpio King, only 500,000 soldiers would be enough to attack a Golden Claw Treasure Land. Even the Sky Scorpio King wouldn't personally take action. Instead, he sent a powerful general to lead the troops. Qin Yin entered the Nine Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda outside the Golden Claw Treasure Land and met with Luo Yaya alone. Yaya, what important information did you bring this time? Qin Yin said with a smile. You were still far away yesterday, and now you have returned to the Golden Claw Treasure Land. It seems like you have already broken through the space restriction. How did you do it? Luo Yaya said, I am a divine king. It is normal for me to travel through space in my territory. Qin Yin said, the Scorpio King won't personally lead the army to attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land. He sent a general to lead 500,000 soldiers. These 500,000 soldiers have all surpassed the divine space realm. Their overall strength is very strong. The millions of soldiers you sent to destroy the strange Cat King were all trash. And these 500,000 soldiers can be considered as 10% of the Scorpio Kingdom's battle power. Qinyan said with frown. The Scorpio King is looking down on people. He only sent 10% of their battle power. Qinyan, this is not a joke. The Scorpio Kingdom also has battleships and other powerful weapons, as well as things like heavenly talismans. You must not underestimate the enemy. Even if you can block this round of attacks, what about the second, third, and fourth round? Luo Yaya said. Qinyan said, tell me, how much damage can the Scorpio King bear? If he loses 2 million soldiers in the Golden Claw Treasure Land, will he still come? Although the Scorpio King is very arrogant, he is not stupid. If he loses 2 million soldiers, he will definitely stop, because if he loses more, he will fall far behind the other kingdoms. I guess he will attack you 3 times at most, each time with 500,000 soldiers. If you can display great power each time, he will definitely have other considerations and will not continue to be reckless. Yeah. What is the Crown Prince of Great Luo looking for in the depths of the divine desolate? Do you know about this matter? Qinyan said. I know, but I can't tell you. Luo Yaya said. Qinyan, it's best if you don't participate in this matter. If you anger the Crown Prince, the consequences will be very serious. Even if you don't die, the treasure land you just obtained will be destroyed by him. Qinyan said with smile. Now that you mention it, I really want to anger the Crown Prince and see if the consequences will be as you said. If you really want to participate, you will not only anger the Crown Prince, but also the Crown Prince's Taisher faction. Luo, Yaya said again. That's even better. The Taisher faction is so mysterious. I really hope they will surface. Qinyan said with mischievous smile. The divine desolate is my territory. I will not allow this kind of powerful and secretive existence. I want to take off their mysterious veil. Luo Yaya has never seen such a person who is not afraid of death. She clearly told him that the Crown Prince and Taisher faction are very powerful, but he still wants to provoke them with a smile. I won't tell you anything. The princess also won't allow me to say anything. Luo Yaya said. Yaya, your princess cultivation has regressed to the divine space realm, so you must be thinking of ways to become stronger. The Taisher faction can help you become stronger, so you must cooperate with them, right? Qinyan asked. Yes. Luo Yaya said. What if I can make you stronger? Are you willing to cooperate with me? Qinyan took out his divine king heavenly seal and said with smile. Chapter 31:44. Although Qinyan doesn't know much about the Taisher factions, he guessed that they have some bloodline heavenly runes that can allow people to obtain even stronger bloodline heavenly runes. The tyrant dragon warrior sent by Great Luo's Crown Prince had a 5th-generation bloodline heavenly rune. That should be the strongest bloodline heavenly rune a Taisher faction could control. There are several Taisher factions, and they are all competing with each other. These mysterious Taisher factions have allied with other kingdoms and empires to get what they want. How can you make us stronger? Luo Yaya asked. Although she can't make the decision to cooperate with Qinyan, she can ask him how much benefit he can bring them. You are in charge of intelligence, so you should know that I have many bloodline heavenly rune boxes. Qinyan said. You have Dragon Bloodline Heavenly Rune Box, Moon Bloodline Heavenly Rune Box, as well as several other unknown ones. Luo Yaya said, but even if you have the Bloodline Heavenly Pattern Box, you can't use its power. Why? Qinyan asked. Because the process of activating the power of a Bloodline Heavenly Rune Box is very complicated. Even Taisher factions have to spend many years of research to obtain usable runes from the box. And the most difficult and mysterious part of the Bloodline Heavenly Rune Box is to bestow Bloodline Heavenly Runes to living beings. Do you have any information about me being able to bestow Bloodline Heavenly Runes on others? Qinyan asked. Yes. When you were in the heaven-splitting ancient clan's Imperial Heaven Gate, a large number of people with Bloodline Heavenly Runes appeared. But those people already had Bloodline Heavenly Runes. You only help them awaken their bloodline heavenly runes. This is not difficult. We can also do it. What is difficult is to bestow bloodline heavenly runes on others and help them evolve from generation to generation. Luo Yaya has gathered a lot of information about Qin Yun, but Qin Yun has done a very good job of keeping it secret. There are many things that Luo Yaya can't find. I can bestow bloodline heavenly runes on others and make them evolve. Qin Yun said. Luo Yaya took out a disc and said, "This is a tool to detect bloodline heavenly runes. Drop 1 drop of blood and let me see your bloodline heavenly runes." I don't have any bloodline heavenly rune in my body. Qin Yun frowned and said helplessly. He was truly depressed about this matter. He could easily give others 5th generation bloodline heavenly runes, and he could make the Lake of Life in the center of the treasure land stronger. However, this was not applicable to him. He had asked Grand Prime why he couldn't. Grand Prime had replied that as a god king, if he used such a method to strengthen himself, he would be restricted. Obtaining a bloodline heavenly rune would indeed make one stronger. Tempering oneself in the Lake of Life would indeed allow one to grow stronger quickly. But Grand Beginning said that Qin Yun must obtain something even stronger than bloodline heavenly rune, so he must not have one. This was because the 9-yang Dharma spirit had already obtained a primordial bloodline heavenly pattern box. In other words, all living beings in the deity desolate could obtain bloodline heavenly patterns. Such things would be commonplace in the future. As a godly monarch, Qin Yun had to stand out from the masses. He had to possess a powerful bloodline that others did not have. Only then would he be able to display his unique strength as a godly monarch. Luo Yaya sneered. You don't even have a bloodline heavenly pattern, so how can you bestow one to others? I am a godly monarch. A bloodline heavenly pattern is too common for me. It's not worthy of me. Although Qin Yun knew that his words were somewhat arrogant, he still said it with a smile. He also thinks so in his heart. Common? After obtaining a bloodline heavenly pattern, a living being can evolve it for 18 generations. Grand Prime's factions are currently able to create 7th-generation bloodline heavenly patterns and a small number of 6th-generation bloodline heavenly patterns. As for 5th-generation bloodline heavenly patterns, they're already widely spread among the powerful factions. The Balong army you encountered before had 5th-generation bloodline heavenly patterns. They will soon evolve to 6th generation. Luo Yaya said. I forced the Balong army to flee. Qin Yun said. In the deity desolate, everyone will be at the divine space realm in the future. If you want to become stronger, you can only use bloodline heavenly patterns to evolve. Our origin Luo, Heavenly Emperor's bloodline heavenly pattern, is currently at the 8th generation. Even if his cultivation regresses to the divine space realm, he will still be the strongest. Do you still think that bloodline heavenly patterns are common? Yes, bloodline heavenly patterns are common. Qin Yun said. Ignorant. Ignorant. Luo Yaya said, all right, I have to go back. Princess still has many things waiting for me to take care of. After Luo Yaya left the 9-sun heaven raising pagoda, Qin Yun said, Yaya, take care. Originally, I wanted to talk to you about 9-sun law spirit obtaining primordial box. If you have urgent matters, then next time. Luo Yaya was just about to leave, but after hearing Qin Yun's words, she became completely stunned. As someone who specializes in information gathering, she immediately realized that this is very important information. Qin Yun has already stored the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda and is about to return to the Golden Claw treasure land. Luo Yaya is still standing there in a daze. She secretly gritted her teeth. Originally, she said that she has urgent matters to take care of, but now she wants to talk to Qin Yun about primordial box. She suddenly discovered that Qin Yun's understanding of bloodline heavenly pattern box is much higher than hers. Qin Yun, let's talk about what you just said. Luo Yaya turned around and indifferently said, to me, this is very important information. Qin Yun smiled. Sure, but I also want to know more about the Grand Prime factions. How about we exchange information? He took out the 9-sun sky-raising pagoda, and Luo Yaya walked in without saying a word. After entering the 9 suns sky-raising pagoda, Luo Yaya asked, "When did the 9 suns Dharma spirit master the primordial Taisher?" "Not long ago," Qin Yun said. "Before the 80th universe God Sun appeared?" Luo Yaya asked again. "Yes." Qin Yun nodded. "Very good. How much do you know about this primordial Grand Prime?" Luo Yaya's eyes shone brightly. Obtaining this important piece of information was very important to her. It was given to the Great Divine Lord by the 9 Suns Lost Spirit. The Great Divine Lord activated the primordial Grand Prime, and I helped the 9 Suns Lost Spirit snatch it back. Qin Yun said, "The Great Divine Lord was killed by me." Luo Yaya nodded. "If you want to ask about the Taisher forces, feel free to ask. Won't your princess blame you?" Qin Yun asked. "She won't." Although Luo Yaya has never asked Princess Luo Shu, she is certain of this point. The 9 Suns Lost Spirit controlling the primordial Grand Prime. What does this mean to you? Qin Yun really wants to know this point because he himself doesn't know much about the primordial Grand Prime. It means that the 9 Suns Lost Spirit's latent power is even more terrifying than we predicted. No wonder he could persuade the other universe's lost spirits to cooperate with him to complete this kind of heaven and earth evolution. Luo said, "The great Luo Empire and the other empires, as well as the Taisher powers, originally planned to join forces to fight against the 9 Suns Lost Spirit, but now they have no chance." Chapter 3145. After Luo Yaya finished speaking, she added, "There is another possibility that the 9 Yang Dharma spirit is heavily injured, and that is the descendant of the Divine Sun. Those descendants of the Divine Sun are fatal to the myriad realms' Divine Sunday. If the 9 Suns Lost Spirit is unable to eliminate the descendants of the Divine Sun, it is still possible that it will die." Qin Yun found it inconceivable. The 9 Suns Lost Spirit was actually unable to do anything to a descendant of the Divine Sun. Qin Yun did not understand the current situation of the descendants of the Divine Sun. The 9 Suns Dharma Spirit did not seem to be anxious. The 9 Yang Dharma Spirit had said that exterminating the Divine Sun's descendants was his mission as a God King. For this, the 9 Yang Dharma Spirit had even created the 9 Yang Divine Maiden to assist him. What kind of use would the primordial Grand Prime have in the hands of the 9 Yang Dharma Spirit? Qin Yun asked again. "What do you think?" Luo Yaya asked. "I believe that the 9 Suns Dharma Spirit will infuse the power of the primordial Grand Prime into the myriad world's divine suns in the future to illuminate the divine desolate heavens, allowing all living beings in the divine desolate heavens to obtain their own bloodline heavenly patterns and evolve their bloodline heavenly patterns." Qin Yun said, "Of course, this process will be very slow, but after a long time, everyone will have powerful bloodline heavenly runes. Yes, that is why bloodline heavenly rune is indeed ordinary." Luo Yaya finally agreed with Qin Yun's words. However, the Taisher factions still have a great advantage because they can allow people to quickly evolve and obtain bloodline heavenly runes. How do they do it? Do they have a bloodline heavenly pattern box? Yes, their bloodline heavenly pattern boxes are all inferior to the primordial Grand Prime. They are all replicas of the primordial Grand Prime, Luo Yaya said. They are incomplete. Qin Yun frowned because the old brother Taisher in his hand was very likely a replica. He had cloned him by accident. However, the 9 Yang Dharma Spirit had warned him not to hand over his old brother Taisher to the Taisher faction, which meant that his old brother Taisher was a little stronger. A Grand Prime faction has to go through a very complicated process, using a large number of Divine Universe Goldstones to activate a Grand Formation. The Bloodline Heavenly Pattern box is placed in the center of the formation, and the person inside the formation can obtain the Bloodline Heavenly Pattern. Evolving a Bloodline Heavenly Pattern requires the same steps, but it's even more complicated and consumes more Divine Universe Gold, said Luo Yaya. Beauty Yaya, what generation Bloodline Heavenly Rune do you have? Qin Yun asked. 4.5 generations. Luo Yaya said. 4.5 generations? There's such a saying? Asked Qin Yun in surprise. I was originally a fourth generation. Through my own efforts, I evolved a half. So, I'm a fourth and a half generation, Luo Yaya said. I can immediately turn you into a fifth generation bloodline, heavenly rune. Come give it a try. There is no harm anyways. Qin Yun said. Do I need to take off my clothes? Luo Yaya asked. Could it be that the Taisher faction wants to strip? Qin Yun never expected Luo Yaya to ask such a question. Yes, their method requires them to undress. Originally, the Grand Primes working with the princess would avoid helping us women evolve our bloodline heavenly patterns or send their women to help us. But now, they don't want to avoid it, especially in this era. They're even more arrogant, so I won't rely on them. I want to evolve my bloodline heavenly pattern by myself. What about your princess? Asked Qin Yun. The princess has a noble status, so she naturally has the best treatment, but I don't. Luo Yaya said. Even if the princess steps forward, the Taisher organizations are unwilling to avoid it. They're only doing this to show off their advantage before the princess. My method doesn't require you to take off your clothes, but it requires you to take off your mask. No problem, right? Qin Yun said with a smile. No problem. Luo Yaya finished speaking and immediately took off her mask. What caused Qin Yun to be surprised is that the face under the mask is actually a round and chubby face. Although Zi Qingqing's face is also round, it is only slightly round. It is not very obvious. Only when you pinch it can you feel it. And Luo Yaya's face is very obviously round, but it is not fat. On the contrary, it is very delicate and moving, especially when combined with her calm eyes and ice-cold temperament. It makes her look very unique. Qin Yun looked at her face and can't help but feel his hands itch. You really want to pinch and rub her face. When do we start? Luo Yaya asked. Now, but first, I need to probe and see what kind of method is suitable for you. I need to touch both of your faces. That's why I want you to take off your mask. Is that okay? Qin Yun said. Luo Yaya became silent for a moment, then nodded and said, All right, but you have to wash your hands first. Sure. Qin Yun smiled and immediately washed his hands with water. Then he began his so-called probing. Qin Yun's expression is very serious. He very seriously used both hands to gently rub Luo Yaya's face, then pinch from time to time. He is playing very happily. Luo Yaya's calm and beautiful eyes are staring at Qin Yun's eyes. She doesn't know that Qin Yun is deliberately pinching her face, otherwise she would have already knocked him down. Yaya, I can only help people evolve their bloodline to 5th generation. Very soon I will be able to evolve it to 6th generation. At that time, I will immediately help you. Although I once pierced through your body, you were in the wrong first. Qin Yun said. I have already let bygones be bygones. Moreover, I don't hold grudges. When do you want to start? Will it take a long time? If it takes a long time, I will go back and explain to the princess. She is afraid that if you stay with me for too long, I will kidnap you, Qin Yun said with a smile. Qin Yun, Scorpio Kingdom's army, is already on the way. I don't want you to delay your important matter just to help me evolve my bloodline heavenly rune. Also, I want you to treat this war seriously, Luo Yaya said. Qin Yun gently rubbed Luo Yaya's face. After a long time, he reluctantly retracted his hand and said, I have a talisman here. You can stick it on your back. Just one talisman? Luo Yaya is somewhat surprised. I am an inscription master. Is it not in your intelligence report? Qin Yun said with a smile. Of course it is. You are also a very talented inscription master. You are also one of the 2 people who can learn you clan heavenly talisman. Luo Yaya took the awakening talisman from Qin Yun's hand. Do you want to go back and ask your princess to stick it on your back, or do you want me to do it? After sticking it on your back, your clothes will be ruined because your bloodline heavenly rune will release very strong power. Qin Yun said, I will go back and ask my princess to stick it on my back. If it is truly successful, I will thank you. Luo Yaya said, You gave me intelligence report before. I said I would repay you. Now we are even. Qin Yun said with a smile. Can you use Divine King Heavenly Seal to help me awaken? Luo Yaya asked. Yes, I can use Divine King Heavenly Seal to help you awaken, but Qinyan said, but you need me to take off my clothes? Luo Yaya said again. And Qinyan laughed. After I go back, I will come back. I will give you more intelligence regarding Scorpio Kingdom's army, as well as Taisher faction's intelligence. I will also do my best to help you win this war. Luo Yaya finished speaking, put on her mask, and left. Chapter 3146. A complete copy update the latest chapter of A Nine Sons Divine King as soon as possible. Qin Yun watched Luo Yaya leave. He was quite surprised when he heard her say that she wanted to help win the war. Since Luo Yaya said so, she would definitely persuade Princess Luo Shu to secretly support them. Qin Yun took out the divine mirror of primordial beginning and said, Brother Primordial, those primordial factions all have bloodline heavenly pattern boxes, and they're replicas of the primordial. Why are there so many? Even you can duplicate a bloodline heavenly pattern box, let alone them. Of course, I'm different from the copies in their hands. Taisher said, What's the difference? Asked Qin Yun. He obviously hoped that his Grand Prime bloodline heavenly pattern box was unique. The replicas in their hands cannot evolve, but I can. Grand Prime said, I've fused with the God King's Heaven Seal. With your help, I can constantly improve and even surpass the primordial Grand Prime. When Qin Yun recalled how the Godly King Heavenly Seal had eaten so many divine universe goldstones, he began to believe Grand Prime's words. It's not just a copy of the primordial Grand Prime. Even the primordial Grand Prime can evolve. Grand Prime said, It's extremely likely that I'm the strongest Grand Prime. The primordial Taisher had once fallen into the hands of the Nine-Yang Law Spirit, but the Nine-Yang Law Spirit had no way of communicating with the primordial Taisher. In the end, it was the great divine Lord who awakened the primordial Taisher. Actually, it's also because the primordial Grand Prime felt that the great divine Lord was easier to control, so he was willing to communicate with the great divine Lord. It's just that he didn't expect that the great divine Lord would be sold out by the Nine-Yang Law Spirit. Qin Yun returned to the Golden Claw Treasure Land to check on the progress of various aspects. What he was most concerned about were the cannonballs and cannons. As the Nine Dragons Kingdom continued to send in cannons, Qin Yun would also hand over a large number of Divine Universe heavenly bones to them. 1,000 dragon head cannons should be enough. Qin Yun looked at the dragon head cannons neatly arranged in the hall and nodded in satisfaction. These rows of dazzling golden dragon head cannons were all forged from Divine Universe heavenly bones. After Qin Yun used the God King Heavenly Seal's ability to fire these cannons, the cannons became even more explosive and penetrative. The most powerful point was that the cannonballs could automatically track the enemy. The dragon head cannon was as big as a car. A person could sit inside and control the cannon to fly. It had a very strong defense. Activating the cannons required a large amount of divine cosmos force, and one also needed to pour in divine cosmos force to allow the cannonball to have the ability to aim itself. The Nine Dragon Kingdom sent over 10 huge pill furnaces. They were modified to be used to refine cannonballs. Qin Yun had a massive number of Divine Universe heavenly bones in his hands. The blacksmiths of the Nine Dragon Kingdom didn't need any compensation. They were willing to help Qin Yun quickly forge equipment for them. After all, it was not every day that one would have the opportunity to forge such a thing. Qin Yun's custom-made items all required a massive amount of Divine Universe heavenly bones. Creating these sorts of items would allow the craftsmen to enhance their skills. Thus, they all scrambled to do so. When he had killed the million cat-eared people, as well as annihilated other powerful enemies of all sizes, Qin Yun had obtained several million genes of Divine Universe heavenly bone. Even though he had used up a great deal of it, he still had nearly 2 million genes left. But he was worried. He felt that he was lacking in Divine Universe heavenly bones. The army sent by the Scorpio Kingdom was much stronger than the 1 million useless cat-eared men from last time. Each of these Scorpio people had at least 100 genes of Divine Universe heavenly bones. Just thinking about it made Qin Yun excited. With a large amount of divine universe heavenly bones, he could create even larger furnaces and cannons. When the time came, he could fire them all at once. No matter how many cat-eared people came, they would all be destroyed. If everything went smoothly, he could destroy the cat-eared people's fleet and continue to make a fortune. Qin Yun's heavenly secrets gates, hidden assassins of heavenly secrets were gradually catching up. Now that they had joined forces with the law enforcers, and Qin Yun had given them the 5th-generation bloodline heavenly rune, as well as the ability to conceal themselves, they would be able to gather intelligence more easily. Now, a large number of hidden assassins of heavenly secrets had begun to move, closely watching the Scorpio Kingdom's army. Qin Yun could receive the whereabouts of the Scorpio Kingdom's army at any time. They were still very far away from the Golden Claw treasure land. The army of 500,000 was flying in the sky. They weren't wearing armor and looked very arrogant. They were majestically flying through the sky with an astonishing momentum. All the major factions in Divine Desolate are now paying close attention to the situation of the war. They don't believe that Qin Yun will be defeated easily. Instead, they think that the Scorpio Kingdom is underestimating their enemy. The Scorpio Kingdom had a lot of army, but they only sent out 500,000 to destroy Qin Yun's Golden Claw treasure land. All the major factions believe that the Scorpio Kingdom will suffer a loss this time. Naturally, they want to see how Qin Yun's Golden Claw treasure land will resist the attack of 500,000 Scorpio soldiers. There are many such powerful treasure lands in Divine Desolate. Moreover, there are also many factions that consider Qin Yun as their enemy. If Qin Yun and the Scorpio Kingdom start a war, both sides' power will be exposed. This is very beneficial to all the major factions. They will be able to learn from it. Unknowingly, Bataille became excited. He is very much looking forward to the arrival of the 500,000 army. He knows that the Golden Claw treasure land has 1,000 dragon head cannons, as well as several tens of thousands of cannonballs. He personally brought people to test the power of those cannonballs. Xia Wufeng, Monkey King, and Su Xiaoba all agreed that even they wouldn't dare to face them head-on. Several of them joined hands and released a very powerful barrier to barely block the explosion of those cannonballs. The energy inside the cannonballs was extracted by Qin Yun using the Bloodline Heavenly Rune Box. Especially the flame released by the cannonballs can restrain the Scorpio people. Moreover, there were many sharp divine universe heavenly bone fragments within the cannonball. After the cannonball exploded, these divine universe heavenly bone fragments would scatter outwards. These fragments were equal to countless large and small flying knives, each of them carrying with them an incomparably terrifying bloodline heavenly flame. Naturally, Qin Yun only has 10,000 cannonballs. He won't use them easily. The Scorpio people are very arrogant. They don't wear any equipment. They only use ordinary cannonballs. After exploding, the bloodline heavenly rune flame can heavily injure the Scorpio soldiers. We have the heavenly Tao altar and the dragon head cannons. No matter how many of them come, they will all die. Bataille said with smile, "Boss, this time we're going to make a fortune." "Brother Ba, you have followed me for so long. Do you think I will just sit here and wait for them to attack?" Qin Yun said with smile. Bataille is startled. He said with smile, "Boss, don't tell me we're going to intercept them halfway. All the major faction spies are watching from the outside. The dragon head cannons are our secret weapons. We will do our best to make sure they don't show themselves." Qin Yun said with smile, "Those spies want to spread the news of the battle. We can't let them succeed." Chapter 3147. Complete version. 9 Sun Divine King's newest chapter as soon as possible. Tai Ba became even more excited. All the major powers are waiting for Scorpio army to attack Golden Claw treasure land. They want to see how Golden Claw treasure land will defend. However, if Qin Yun takes the initiative to attack and obstruct Scorpio army halfway, it will be very shocking. It will surely shock all the major powers. Take 500 Divine King warriors, 500 dragon head cannons. Boss, yeah, little monkey Xiaoba, let's go. Qin Yun said with smile. Although Su Xiaoba knows that he won't need to fight this time, he can still control the dragon head cannons to bombard the Scorpio soldiers. Master, can you make a kind of cannon? You can stuff me into the cannon and then shoot me out. The moment I fly out, I can sweep them with a rod and kill them all with an invincible and tyrannical power. Su Xiaoba very excitedly asked, Shoot you out, and you will explode. Qin Yun said with smile, The cannon's power is to explode. You can't explode. What's the point of shooting you out? Who said I can't explode? Shoot me out, and I will erupt with my divine cosmos power by several times. They will definitely be caught unprepared. Su Xiaoba curled his lips and said, Old boy Yun, can you refine a space inside the cannon and store a large number of swords inside? After firing, thousands of swords will fly out and stab all the people to death. Then I can retrieve the swords. Xia Wufeng asked. He is also very excited. This is possible. Boss Xia, your control over swords is very good. You can quickly retrieve swords and use them many times. You can indeed try it. Qin Yun said with smile. Dark Assassin of Heavenly Secret is using soul fluctuation to send back information. This is the principle of the soul-chasing talisman. However, the reply is not instantaneous. It will take half an hour. Moreover, it can be easily interfered with. After gathering all kinds of information, Qin Yun confirmed the route of the Scorpio army and immediately started the heaven-leaping shuttle. The Divine King warriors inside the shuttle, as well as Su Xiaoba's group, are very much looking forward to using the dragon head cannons to bombard the Scorpio soldiers. In a luxurious stone room inside a huge mountain, Luo Yaya is standing in front of Princess Luo Shu. Her clothes have been torn apart by a formidable power. Her whole body is enveloped in golden light. She looked at her hands in astonishment. She looked at the bloodline heavenly patterns on her snow-white skin. Those bloodline heavenly patterns were greedily absorbing the energy in the surroundings. Princess Luo Shu was also shocked. She didn't expect the fifth-generation bloodline heavenly pattern to appear immediately after she stuck the talisman on Luo Yaya's heart. She immediately took out a large number of Divine Universe golden stones and scattered them around for Luo Yaya to absorb. Luo Yaya had just gained a fifth-generation bloodline heavenly pattern, so she needed to absorb a lot of energy to strengthen it. Otherwise, she would suffer from malnutrition. Qin Yun only used a talisman to bestow you with fifth-generation bloodline heavenly rune. Moreover, it is so special. It is completely different from the fifth-generation bloodline heavenly rune of Taisher factions. Princess Luo Shu said in shock, Sister, the bloodline heavenly pattern Qin Yun gave me is better than a Grand Prime factions? Luo Yaya still couldn't believe it. It wasn't like this when she obtained the third and fourth generation bloodline heavenly patterns. Not only was the process complicated, but she also didn't feel anything. She could clearly feel that the heavenly patterns in her body were brimming with power. They seemed to have fused with her and even had a soul that resonated with her. Compared to Qin Yun, the bloodline heavenly patterns of Taisher factions are trash. Princess Luo Shu took a deep breath and said, Do you see? Your fifth-generation bloodline heavenly pattern is greedily absorbing energy as if it has a life of its own. Those Taisher factions are dead. Even Princess Luo Shu looked at the bloodline heavenly pattern on Luo Yaya's body with envy. Sister, if I had known earlier, I would have given it to you. Luo Yaya was very loyal and devoted to Princess Luo Shu. It doesn't matter. This is an opportunity that belongs to you. I didn't expect that Qin Yun could really bestow bloodline heavenly patterns to others, and it is so much better than the Taisher factions. How'd he do it? No wonder he could become the Divine Moon Clan's emperor. No wonder the Divine Moon Clan's women all have such outstanding bloodline heavenly patterns. Princess Luo Shu took a deep breath. Big sister, should we adjust our strategy? Qin Yun is much easier to get along with than the Taisher factions. Although he's a bit annoying, I think he's a good person. Ever since Father successfully evolved the 8th generation bloodline heavenly pattern and extended his lifespan, the Taisha factions gradually distanced themselves from me. Princess Luo Shu sighed and said, I am a woman after all, and the crown prince is valued by father again. The Taisha factions behind us are not optimistic about me. Then, what is the heavenly emperor's attitude towards sister princess? Luo Yaya asked. Father praised me for my ambition, but at the same time he criticized me for not looking at the big picture. His attitude is very vague. He did not punish me because of this, which means he allows me to fight for the throne. Since he appointed the crown prince, he will definitely not openly support me. Princess Luo Shu said. Then what about your faction? Has it been weakened? Luo Yaya asked. Out of the 7 generals in my hands, 3 died. My 1 million army was reduced to 300,000. Princess Luo Shu said. The heavenly emperor still punished you. Luo Yaya said with frown. It was not father. It was the crown prince's faction. They used many methods to frame my army for rebellion, so they did it. Princess Luo Shu closed her eyes and sighed. Then next, should we send troops to help Qin? Luo Yaya bit her lips and said, Sister, I promised Qin that I would do my best to help him win against the Scorpio kingdom. I believe that Qin is trustworthy and more reliable than the Taisha factions. If Qin keeps a low profile, it will not be a problem. He is too high profile. With his temperament, he will definitely pierce through the sky in the future. This is where he is unstable. Princess Luo Shu said. Although the Divine Moon Clan and the Phoenix Kingdom are cooperating, the Phoenix Kingdom has not taken action yet. I think we should send troops to help Qin before the Phoenix Kingdom does and show our attitude. Luo Ya looked at the bloodline heavenly rune on her body and said, Sister, even if you don't want to fight for the throne now, the crown prince will not let you go. Princess Luo Shu took out a token and handed it to Luo Yaya. Yaya, I allow you to bring 200,000 troops. Of course, you better discuss it with Qin first and see what he plans to do. This person might have already set up the overall situation. Sister, I will help you get a talisman. Qin's talisman can make you the same as me. Luo Yaya said. Sure, but if he has excessive demands, then forget it. You are like my little sister. I don't want you to make any sacrifices for me. Princess Luo Shu gently smiled and touched Luo Yaya's face. Luo Yaya's heart warmed and said, Qin doesn't seem like that kind of person. Although the intelligence said that he has many women, since he can become the emperor of the Divine Moon Clan, he definitely does not lack women. Chapter 3148. Yaya, I see you as my sister. Promise me not to do anything stupid. Princess Luo Shu looked at Luo Yaya sincerely. Sister, I will definitely promise you. Luo Yaya nodded and said softly, Qin is a very complicated person. Before you understand him well, don't trust him too much. Princess Luo Shu warned. I know, Luo Yaya hated Qin at first, but later found out that everything Qin did in the Divine Desolate was to fight. As the Divine King of the Divine Desolate, Qin had to fight against the various empires and kingdoms that invaded the Divine Desolate. This required a lot of courage. While fighting against a strong enemy, one also needed enough wisdom and perseverance. Otherwise, one would have died long ago. Although Luo Yaya was a person of the upper class, there are also different levels in the upper class. For example, Ba Tain and his brothers were trash in the Great Lan Empire. She was lucky to have met Princess Luo Shu and had her status and strength today. Otherwise, she would be the same as the other upper-class trash. She was loyal to Princess Luo Shu and could sacrifice herself for her sister. Seeing how powerful the awakening talisman Qin gave her was, she regretted it and felt that she should have given it to the princess. In her opinion, this kind of awakening talisman must be very precious. If she wanted to ask Qin for it, she might have to pay a price. Sister, have you completely lost your power in the empire? Luo Yaya asked, because according to her understanding, Princess Luo Shu would not easily send troops to help Qin. Once she was found out, she would be standing against the crown prince and the entire great Luo Empire. Also, it was equivalent to betraying the Taisher faction behind her. Princess Luo Shu could only find a new faction to help her grow stronger. Only then could she protect herself. She had fought with the crown prince for the throne, and now that Princess Luo Shu had completely lost her power, her only fate was death. The crown prince would definitely not let her off. Princess Luo Shu said coldly, "Now in the Empire, there are many people who support me on the surface, but I don't know. According to my observation, they might have secretly sided with the crown prince and might cooperate with the crown prince to give me a fatal blow at the right time. Now is the new era. We have all fallen to the divine universe realm and are all in the divine desolate. No matter how strong they can't be that strong. They can't kill me." Qin Yun was the godly monarch of the divine wilderness. He was the one who maintained the order of the divine wilderness. Now, he was in the midst of his rise to power. Furthermore, he had to resist the powerful enemies that had invaded the divine wilderness to destroy order. Princess Luo Shu sending troops to help Qin Yun was equivalent to betting on Qin Yun. The universe lost spirit took back everyone's power, causing everyone's cultivation to fall back to the divine universe tier. Moreover, the homes of the middle and upper echelons were also taken back. Then, coming to the divine wilderness was a new beginning. From Princess Luo Shu's point of view, there was no need for her to compete with the crown prince for the throne. She could create her own empire. However, no matter what power they had to follow the orders set by the divine monarch in the divine desolate. Yaya, quickly lead the troops to the vicinity of the Golden Claw. Try to keep it a secret. Princess Luo Shu said, "Yes, I will try my best to keep it secret. If there are spies from other forces approaching, I will kill them all." Luo Yaya nodded. Luo Yaya immediately led Princess Luo Shu's 200,000 troops and set off. These were all soldiers from the Empire, the kind that had fallen to the divine universe tier. Their quality in all aspects would definitely surpass the soldiers of the Scorpio Kingdom. Furthermore, they were all well equipped. 1 against 5 was not a problem at all. Princess Luo Shu only had 300,000 troops in her hands. Furthermore, they were all powerful soldiers that she had secretly nurtured. They were all loyal and devoted to her. After competing with the crown prince for the position, Princess Luo Shu could be said to have suffered heavy losses. Not only did she completely lose her power, she was also marginalized by the great Luo Heavenly Emperor. This caused her to not have enough courage to enter the Nine Suns sacred ground after coming to the divine wilderness. Luo Yaya divided the 200,000 troops into 20 groups, each group having 10,000 people. They would set off in batches at night, heading towards the vicinity of the Golden Claw from various directions. There was a large mountain range near the Golden Claw. It was not a problem to hide 200,000 people. 2 days later, there were more and more spies outside the Golden Claw. The empires and kingdoms of the other universes had sent out a large number of spies. The divine monarch of the divine wilderness represented the order of the divine wilderness. However, this divine monarch was currently very weak. The various countries and factions that had entered the divine wilderness would definitely not put this weak divine monarch in their eyes. However, not long ago, the things that this divine monarch had done had gradually revealed his extraordinary strength. Especially now, the Scorpio Kingdom had provoked Qin Yun. This was akin to provoking the supreme guardian of order. All the various factions wanted to see what would happen to the Scorpio Kingdom. Of course, they all knew that Qin Yun was definitely unable to interfere in the Nine Suns sacred ground at the moment. However, the Nine Suns sacred ground was very vast. There were many powerful races and countless resources. Even if one was not in the Nine Suns sacred ground, they could still do well outside. Luo Yaya had already arrived outside the Golden Claw and secretly contacted Qin Yun. However, she found out that Qin Yun was undergoing important seclusion and was not convenient to meet guests. Qin Yun was in seclusion at this time, which made Luo Yaya speechless. The enemy was about to attack, yet he was still in the mood for seclusion. Luo Yaya did not say anything and only waited seriously. Every once in a while, she would send people to contact the guards at the entrance of the Golden Claw sacred ground, saying that there was something very important. However, Qin Yun still did not come out. Luo Yaya, who did not see Qin Yun, was burning with anxiety because, according to her calculations, the 500,000 Scorpio army would arrive in 3 days. She needed to discuss the battle plan with Qin Yun in these 3 days. She had to arrange for Princess Luo Shu's 200,000 soldiers. Time was very tight. Luo Yaya, who was on a mountain peak, used a telescope to observe the entire Golden Claw sacred ground. The Golden Claw sacred ground was very quiet. Such a huge sacred ground was empty. Only the mountain-like altar in the middle was emitting golden light. There was no tense atmosphere in the entire Golden Claw sacred ground. Pavilion Master, our shadow pavilion spy in the Nine Sun sacred ground, has sent an important secret letter. A black-clothed man wearing a mask passed a letter to Luo Yaya. Luo Yaya opened it and frowned. The Nine-Dragon Kingdom came through the Nine Sun sacred grounds passage and was attacked by the Crown Prince's secret army. This is not good for Qin Yun. It seems that the Heavenly Flood Empire and the Crown Prince of Deluo have secretly joined hands. Pavilion Master, the Nine-Dragon Kingdom's journey is very bumpy. I'm afraid that it will be difficult for them to support Qin Yun. Otherwise, their losses will be even greater and the foundation of the Nine-Dragon Kingdom will be shaken. The black-clothed man said, in the war between Qin Yun and the Scorpio Kingdom, the Nine-Dragon Kingdom should not participate. The Crown Prince is still more concerned about Qin Yun. Indeed, as long as he attacks the Nine-Dragon Kingdom a few times, he will get rid of Qin Yun's important ally. This move really hit Qin Yun's weak point. Luo Yaya gritted her teeth and said, no matter what the outcome is, our position of helping Qin Yun will not change. People who want to share with others, $_title. Follow on WeChat, excellent reading literature, talk about life, find confidence. Chapter 3149. Qin Yun, who was on his way to ambush the Scorpio army, received news from the Nine Sun sacred ground. It was transmitted through soul fluctuations from high above. Qin Yun received the message through a special device. After deciphering the ciphertext, he learned that the Nine-Dragon Kingdom had been attacked. This news was sent to Qin Yun by Long Jinchuan and the others after they settled down. He told Qin Yun that the Nine Dragons Kingdom had lost 30% of its warriors and the Nine Dragons King had been severely injured. It was the Crown Prince of Deluo and the Crown Prince of the Tianhong Empire who had attacked them. Of course, the two princes did not make a move. They each sent 100,000 warriors to wait for them at the center of the Nine Sun sacred ground. Long Jinchuan also said that even if there was only one person left in the Nine Dragons Kingdom, he would rush to the Golden Claw treasure land to support him. This made Qin Yun feel very touched. This was a trustworthy ally. Although Long Jinchuan did not elaborate, Qin Yun was certain that the crown princes of the two empires were deliberately suppressing him, a godly monarch. He wanted to intimidate the factions that wanted to cooperate with him. Are these two crown princes trying to intimidate me? Qin Yun's eyes turned slightly cold. Heavenly Hong Empire, you came from the outerverse. Instead of staying in the divine wilderness obediently, you want to take me down a notch? Do you really think that I can't do anything to you just because you hide in the Nine Sun sacred ground? Master, after we get rid of the Scorpio Kingdom and the Exotic Cat Kingdom, we will slaughter our way into the Nine Sun holy ground and destroy the Deluo Empire and the Heaven Hong Empire. Su Xiaoba is also very angry. He had come into contact with the warriors of the Nine Dragons Kingdom and often sparred with them. He knew that the people of Nine Dragons were easy to get along with. When they found out that the Nine Dragons Kingdom had suffered such a great loss, they were furious. I will make other arrangements, Qin Yun said. He then sent a reply to Long Jinchuan. First, he greeted the Nine Dragon King and then told Long Jinchuan to stay away from the Nine Sun sacred ground and not rush to occupy an area there. Furthermore, he told Long Jinchuan not to send people over. Instead, he told them to gather their greatest strength to help him build the dragon head cannon. The empires, kingdoms, and other factions that arrived in the divine wilderness, and even the powerful clans born in the Nine Suns sacred ground, did not recognize Qin Yun as the godly king. As long as he cooperated with Qin Yun, he would be considered an anomaly. If the Nine Dragon Kingdom recognized Qin Yun as a godly monarch, they would definitely not be able to survive in the Nine Suns sacred ground. They would definitely be ostracized. Qin Yun knew very well that if he didn't leave corpses strewn all over the Nine Suns sacred ground, those factions would definitely think nothing of him, a god monarch, especially those empires. They knew that the Nine Dragons Kingdom was Qin Yun's ally, yet they still attacked the Nine Dragons Kingdom. They're coming soon. Those 500,000 soldiers are divided into 5 armies. They're not together. Tyingba returned from outside. "Do we maintain our distance?" asked Qin Yun. "Yes, they're quite cautious. They're afraid of being wiped out." Tyingba nodded. "All right, we will take our time. According to their speed, they will need at least 3 days to reach Golden Claw Treasure Land. We will start here," Qin Yun said. He immediately controlled the heaven-leaping shuttle to head towards the army at the back. The 5 armies were quite far apart from each other. Even if they were attacked, the armies in front would not discover them so quickly. Soon, Qin Yun's heaven-leaping shuttle arrived at a high altitude. He could see a large group of majestic Scorpio people flying in the sky. Their flying speed was not particularly fast. Based on this speed, it might take them a few days to reach the Golden Claw Treasure Land, and they still had a rest on the way. Each of the 500 Divine King warriors is controlling a dragon head cannon. They're all shooting down from the sky. The cannonballs are being shot in succession. They're emitting intense golden light and dragging long light tails behind them. In just an instant, it is as if a golden waterfall is pouring down from the sky and enveloping the Scorpio people below. The cannonballs are very big. They are as tall as half a person. After they exploded, the bloodline heavenly rune flame inside crazily rushed out, causing trembling sound without end. In the blink of an eye, the ground below has been enveloped by a sea of fire. Those Scorpio warriors are screaming miserably inside the sea of fire. And a large number of Scorpio warriors have their bodies torn apart by the intense flame. Their flesh and blood look like they are being ignited. They are crazily burning. Although Su Xiaoba and others are aware of the might of these cannonballs, seeing it with their own eyes, their scalps still tingled. "Let's go down and take a look." Qin Yun took out a box and swallowed the bloodline heavenly rune flame. Some Scorpio warriors are still alive, so the Divine King warriors rushed down and started harvesting them. Qin Yun used super gravity to envelop the ground. Combined with his mental power, he locked onto those Divine Universe heavenly bones and controlled them to float in the air. Then he used the 9 Sun Divine Soul to collect them all. After obtaining a large number of Divine Universe heavenly bones, Qin Yun immediately ordered his people to return to the heaven-leaping shuttle and continue attacking the next army. The first 4 armies still don't know which army has been destroyed. As for the nearby spies, they have been captured by Xie Wufeng to prevent them from spreading the news. Next, Qin Yun brought the Divine King warriors and the Dragon Head Cannon to kill the other armies one by one. He killed the general and beheaded him. Qin Yun harvested a large number of Divine Universe heavenly bones. These Scorpio warriors are very strong. Their quality is very good, and they have a lot of Divine Universe heavenly bones. Just the number of Divine Universe heavenly bones in the body of the 500,000 strong Scorpio army is much higher than the million trash from the cat-eared people. The heaven-leaping shuttle immediately returned to the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Intercepting and killing the 500,000 strong Scorpio army is as easy as blowing off dust for Qin Yun. At most, he can only test his Dragon Head Cannon, and the cannonballs he uses are quite ordinary. After returning to the Golden Claw Treasure Land, Qin Yun learned that Luo Yaya has an urgent matter to discuss with him. This time, he let Luo Ya enter the Golden Claw Treasure Land. He also invited Luo Yaya to come in before, but she refused. The main reason is that Princess Luo Shu's attitude was not clear at that time. Now that Princess Luo Shu has decided to join hands with Qin Yun, Luo Yaya entered the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Qin Yun is still in the Nine-Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda, talking with Luo Yaya. Your princess is willing to cooperate with me, Qin Yun said with a smile. He is not surprised to see Luo Yaya, because he knows that the effect of the awakening talisman will definitely move Princess Luo Shu. Princess asked me to bring 200,000 soldiers and hide them in the nearby mountains. But I can't completely hand them over to you. I need to know your battle plan. Luo Yaya said, It's not that I don't trust you. It's just that those soldiers are very precious. They can be said to be the last guarantee of the princess's strength. Qin Yun is very surprised that Princess Luo Shu asked Luo Yaya to bring 200,000 soldiers. He thought that it would be good if there were several tens of thousands. This is not urgent. We can slowly discuss the battle plan, Qin Yun said with a smile. Why not? In 2 or 3 days, those 500,000 Scorpio soldiers will arrive. Luo Yaya said, I have detailed information on them, as well as all kinds of information on that general. I know his fighting style. Qin Yun took out the general's head and placed it in front of Luo Yaya. He said with a smile, It's the information on this guy, right? It's useless now, because he's already dead. She wanted to chat with more like-minded people about. He wants to chat with more like-minded people. Read literature, talk about life, find a bosom friend. Chapter 3150. Luo Yaya is in charge of a shadow pavilion. She has collected a lot of information about this famous general of Scorpio Kingdom. This general has a great background. He is Scorpio King's right-hand man. He has been through hundreds of battles and has never been defeated. The most famous thing about this general is that he once led an army to attack a star field controlled by Phoenix Kingdom and successfully conquered it. Phoenix King was furious at that time and immediately led an army to recapture that star field, but it was blocked by this general. In the end, Phoenix King had no choice but to give up that star field to Scorpio Kingdom. Even the crown prince of Great Luo wanted to rope in this capable general. It is said that the reason why the crown prince valued Scorpio Kingdom so much is mainly because of this general. However, this general's head was chopped off just like that. I wonder if it's a clone or not. Qin Yun said, It's not. Luo Yaya recovered from her shock and asked, How did you capture him? I didn't do it. It was Brother Ba who rushed over and chopped off his head with one saber strike. All right, my disciple also participated, Qin Yun said. This general was indeed besieged by Tayin Ba and Su Xiaoba and was even bombarded by artillery shells. Is he so weak after falling to Divine Space Realm? Luo Yaya still can't believe it. She is holding the head to confirm that it is not a clone. Qin Yun said with a smile, What? Is this guy very powerful? Luo Yaya nodded seriously. Very powerful. He once attacked a star field controlled by Phoenix Kingdom and even made Phoenix Queen helpless. He is a general that Scorpio King highly values, but he died just like that. Wow. That means this head can be given to Phoenix Queen as a gift? Qin Yun said with a smile. I wonder if Phoenix Queen will look up to me because of this. That's for sure. Phoenix Queen hates this person to the bone because many of the Phoenix warriors guarding that star field died. Many of Phoenix Queen's beloved generals were either eaten or tortured to death. Luo Yaya said, Then I have to keep it safe. Qin Yun took out a box and sealed the head inside. Qin Yun, there is no time to lose. We should quickly discuss how to cooperate and capture the 500,000-strong army in one fell swoop. Luo Yaya felt a lot more at ease. She was worried that this general would not be easy to deal with. Now that this powerful general had been killed, the 500,000 soldiers would be easy to deal with. There's no need. I've already taken down the 500,000-strong army he led. Qin Yun said with a smile, Yaya, hide the warriors you brought in well in the mountain range. Come out to help when needed. Luo Yaya was shocked once again. It had only been a few days. That 500,000-strong army was annihilated by Qin Yun. She suddenly recalled that she had been looking for Qin Yun all this while, but he had said that he was in seclusion. So he had gone on a secret operation. However, Luo Yaya had also sent out secret agents to keep an eye on the movements of the 500,000 troops. So far, there had been no news at all. All right, we've captured a lot of spies. I'll send someone for you to claim your Dark Shadow Pavilion spies. Qin Yun said, in order to keep his secret, I have no choice but to do this. Please forgive me. It's all right, Luo Yaya said softly. She did not expect Qin Yun to be so meticulous. He had even captured a large group of spies. Capturing those spies was simply a piece of cake for a sword god like Xia Wufeng. Although he was a sword god in the divine court of myriad realms, he often carried out assassination missions. Most of the experts he killed didn't even know how they died. Soon, Luo Yaya claimed a few spies from the Dark Shadow Pavilion. Those spies were still extremely shocked because they had seen how the 500,000-strong army was annihilated. They wanted to say it out loud, but they knew that this was not the right place. They also knew that the Dark Shadow Pavilion's pavilion master and Princess de Luo were secretly helping Qin Yun. Obviously, they wanted to join forces with Qin Yun. They were somewhat confused about this matter at first because, in their opinion, as long as they stood on Qin Yun's side, it would be the same as becoming enemies with many empires and kingdoms. Now that they knew about Qin Yun's terrifying weapon, they all believed that the princess' decision was correct. Those spies were sent by Luo Yaya to spy on other information and immediately left the Golden Claw treasure land. The spies of other forces would be handed over to the Heaven Secrets sect to deal with. Qin Yun taught the Heaven Secrets sect a special method that could use the illusion pupil race's ability to brainwash people and turn them into spies of the Heaven Secrets sect. Qin Yun and Luo Yaya once again returned to the Nine-Sun Sky Raising Pagoda. Yaya, what's the situation with your princess? Qin Yun said. You said before that she handed over the very important 200,000 soldiers to me. Does she only have so few soldiers? Because she failed to compete with the crown prince of de Luo for the throne, she exposed her ambition and was removed. Luo Yaya sighed and said, the princess only has 300,000 soldiers. They were all secretly trained by her. Since they are so important to her, try not to use them. I can defend against the Scorpio Kingdom's attack. Qin Yun said with a smile. Princess Luo Shu has expressed her attitude. I am very grateful to her. The Nine-Dragon Kingdom has been attacked while moving to the heavenly god Desolate. Luo Yaya said again. They shouldn't be able to give you too much support. The princess's soldiers are very powerful. They will definitely be able to help you survive this crisis. I know about the Nine-Dragon Kingdom situation. They originally wanted to come over to help, but I refused. I told them to properly recuperate. Qin Yun said, the Nine-Dragon Kingdom is attacking my Golden Claw treasure land. All the empires and kingdoms in the Nine-Sun Holy Land are watching. I will let them know the consequences of provoking the Divine King. Qin Yun's meaning is very clear. He wants to use his own strength as much as possible. He doesn't want to expose his allies so that they won't be attacked. In the current situation of the heavenly god Desolate, any ally that dares to ally with Qin Yun must be cherished. Didn't we agree to cooperate and form an alliance? If you don't want our help, then what do you want us to do? Luo Yaya asked doubtfully. Of course it's to help each other, and I don't need your help right now. Qin Yun laughed and said, don't worry. When I killed the Scorpio Kingdom's 500,000 soldiers, they didn't suffer any serious injuries. All right, if you need our help, just say it. We will definitely do our best. Luo Yaya said. All right, how is your bloodline heavenly rune? Is the effect good? Qin Yun asked. The effect is very good, far surpassing those Taisher powers. Luo Yaya wanted to say something, but stopped because she wanted to help Princess Luo Shu get a talisman. Qin Yun saw through her thoughts and immediately took out 3 talismans and handed them to her. This kind of talisman is very complicated to make and very difficult to make. I don't have many in my hands right now. These are for you. Luo Yaya is very surprised. She didn't expect Qin Yun to give her 3 talismans. Actually, making this kind of talisman is not too difficult for Qin Yun. Chapter 3151. Qin Yun also saw Princess Luo Shu mobilizing 200,000 soldiers to help him, so he expressed some sincerity. Luo Yaya said that his bloodline heavenly rune is much better than Taishi's. That means even Princess Luo Shu wants it. Thank you very much. Luo Yaya took the 3 awakening talismans. Yaya, how many soldiers do you think Scorpio Kingdom will send next? When will they arrive? Qin Yun asked. At least 1 million. This time, they will probably send out battleships. There will be about 50 battleships with 20,000 Scorpio soldiers each. Luo Yaya said. It will take about half a month for them to mobilize their army and arrive at Golden Claw Treasure Land. What kind of battleships do they use? Are there things like energy cores inside the battleships? Qin Yun asked. He doesn't know much about these battleships. Even Batayin and others don't know much about them. Nine Dragon Kingdom knows, but their battleships are very backward. Meng Kai is not a fleet general, so he doesn't know much. Fleets are the secrets of empires and kingdoms. Very few people know about battleships. And Luo Yaya certainly knows a lot about battleships. Next, Luo Yaya informed Qin Yun about the battleships. Qin Yun also asked many questions about the battleships. Qin Yun and Luo Yaya talked for a long time and gained a better understanding of the battleships. Battleships have energy cores, but these energy cores are mainly responsible for defense. For example, maintaining the battleship's protective barrier and injecting energy into the battleship's armor. At the same time, the energy cores can also allow the battleship to fly at high speed, make the battleship invisible and shuttle through space. Of course, Divine Desolate can't shuttle through space. Divine Desolate space was sealed by several empires, and Nine Sun Law Spirit also added a layer of space seal. It is very difficult for large battleships to shuttle through space. Battleships usually have many energy cores, and these energy cores are not responsible for attack. Because the energy core needs to be converted into offensive power, it consumes a lot of energy, and during the conversion process, there will be losses. The battleship's main offensive power comes from the soldiers on board. The soldiers will gather in the main hall and release their divine cosmos power or mental power. Then the battleship's great formation will gather the divine cosmos power and fuse it with some tools before launching an attack. In other words, the more warriors there were in the battleship, the stronger they were. Then the battleship would be able to gather their divine cosmos force and unleash an extremely powerful divine cosmos force that was gathering the power of millions to tens of millions of divine universe, and then exploding out with 2 to 3 times the power. The might of that attack could be imagined. Every kingdom and empire had different warship manufacturing technology. It mainly depended on the control of the inscriptions. The defense and attack power of the battleship needed to be transformed by the energy absorbed by the runes. The defense of the battleship is very strong. Over the years, few battleships have been breached. Most of them flee in defeat. The warriors in the battleship will have their divine space power depleted, and the battleship's energy cores will still be able to maintain its defenses. Then, they will break through space and flee. Luo Yaya said. Therefore, in the eyes of Luo Yaya and the other kingdoms and empires, Qin Yun's Golden Claw Treasure Land would not be able to stop the fleet of the exotic cat kingdom. Qin Yun said with a frown, Is its defense really that strong? Luo Yaya said seriously, You have to know that in previous battles, the warriors and the warships were all far above the 9th tier of the divine space realm. Even so, they were still unable to break through the defenses of the other warships when they gathered their strength. Generally speaking, no matter how strong the defense is, it will always be broken by weapons. Why does the battleship have such a strong defense? Is it because of the energy cores? Qin Yun asked, What are the energy cores? The energy cores are very small divine sun cores, enough for the battleship to operate for many years. Luo Yaya said, The more formidable aspect of the exotic cat kingdom's battleship is that they have mastered a secret technique that can transform the energy cores into a special protective cover. Any energy that hits their protective cover will be absorbed and swallowed up. How many battleships does the exotic cat kingdom have? Qin Yun asked. 13,000. Their battleship doesn't need too many people. Moreover, their main battleship has 3,000 people. The others are transport ships and all kinds of small battleships. Luo Yaya said. Now you know, if the exotic cat kingdom wants to flatten your golden claw treasure land, it will be a piece of cake. Qin Yun is indeed frightened. If so many battleships with super strong defense were to fly over from the sky, they would definitely be densely packed. If they attacked the golden claw treasure land at the same time, they might be able to evaporate the entire treasure land in an instant. Qin Yun, the Scorpio Kingdom's battleships are also not bad. They won't use all their battleships to attack you, but 50 battleships is also not a small number. If you want to understand more about battleships, you should start with the Scorpio Kingdom's battleships. Qin Yun understood Luo Yaya's meaning. She wants him to take the initiative to find the Scorpio Kingdom's battleships and understand them clearly. The main reason why battleships are so strong is because of their runes. You are an inscription master. Maybe you can find a way to break their runes. Luo Yaya said again. She suddenly has this kind of confidence in Qin Yun, mainly because of the awakening talisman. Yaya, how many craftsmen does your princess have? I need a large number of craftsmen to help me forge tools. Qin Yun said. Quite a few. Tell me your requirements. Luo Yaya also knows that 9 Dragon Kingdom helped Qin Yun forge many equipment. Qin Yun took out the blueprint. It is still the dragon head cannon, but it is quite large, many times larger than the one he ordered from 9 Dragon Kingdom. 9 Dragon Kingdom helped him build it. The cannon base is like a large carriage. It can fit one person inside. And he asked Princess Luo Shu to help him build it. The barrel is tens of meters long. The cannon base is like a small hill. Apart from this, there is also an even larger furnace. Princess Luo Shu is the princess of an empire. Her craftsman level is definitely higher than the 9 Dragon Kingdoms. Furnace and this thing called cannon. Can you make 10 of each in 10 days? I will pay for the divine universe, heavenly bones. Help me add more heat-resistant materials. Qin Yun said. All right. Luo Yaya agreed. Qin Yun immediately gave Luo Yaya several million divine universe heavenly bones. He just harvested them not long ago. Luo Yaya naturally knows that these are the divine universe heavenly bones of the Scorpio people. Although this is a taboo, in God Desolate, there is no such thing as a taboo. Quickly, Qin Yun seriously warned. In order to make it easier for Luo Yaya to come to the Golden Claw Treasure Land, Qin Yun also gave her a set of teleportation array pillars. He told her to go back and set them up so that the next time she comes, she can immediately teleport to the Golden Claw Treasure Land. After Luo Yaya left, Qin Yun took out a sun-suppressing divine arrow. It is time to make some of these things. Qin Yun gently caressed the sun-suppressing divine arrow. He plans to use this thing to break the battleship's defense. Chapter 3152. If it was before, it would have been very difficult to refine a divine tool like the sun-suppressing divine arrow. But now, Qin Yun has the ability to refine the sun-suppressing divine arrow. He can even do it better than before. The sun-suppressing divine arrow in his hand has a very formidable ability, 10,000 Devour. When it is shot, it can quickly devour the energy around it, making the arrow even stronger. The sun-suppressing divine arrow in Qin Yun's hand has been modified by the divine universe heavenly bone. He has not used the ability bestowed by the divine King Heavenly Seal. According to Tai Shi's guess, after the divine King Heavenly Seal bestowed ability, it will only strengthen the sun-suppressing divine arrow's devouring ability, allowing it to devour even more myriad realms' divine sun's energy. Of course, the sun-suppressing divine arrow Qin Yun wants to refine is very special. The sun-suppressing divine arrow in his hand is considered very ancient. If it is not modified, it will not be able to adapt to this era. He only plans to use the divine mirror of primordial beginning to duplicate the sun-suppressing divine arrow's 10,000 Devour ability. After taking out the sun-suppressing divine arrow, Qin Yun used the divine mirror of primordial beginning to illuminate it. This won't do. I can't duplicate the sun-suppressing divine arrow's ability. Tai Shi is also somewhat surprised and said, "How did this sun-suppressing divine arrow form? Was it really created inside the sun? I'm also not too clear. Why can't I duplicate that ability?" Qin Yun is also very puzzled. The sun-suppressing divine arrow was originally not like this. This sun-suppressing divine arrow's ability was influenced by my nether sun back then. His father Qin Long, Yu, and the others all have different sun-suppressing divine arrows. This ability is very important. It can be considered as a half-life, half-spirit body, so the divine mirror of primordial beginning cannot duplicate it. Let's say it like this. This is a rune with life. With the divine mirror of primordial beginning's current ability, it can't duplicate this ability. A3. What a pity. If all the sun-suppressing divine arrows I refined had this ability, it would be a lot easier to break through the battleship's defense. Qin Yun plans to modify one and then find a battleship to test it out. Using the Gemini Heavenly Rune and Mysterious Fusion Heavenly Rune should be possible. Tai Shi said, "The mother and daughter with the Gemini Heavenly Rune each have a Gemini Heavenly Rune in their body. The two Gemini Heavenly Runes completely fused with their bodies. In other words, we need them to cooperate." Qin Yun said with a frown, "What about the Mysterious Fusion Heavenly Rune? What can it do?" You can view the sun-suppressing divine arrow's 10,000 devour as a powerful inscription spirit body. If you want to duplicate a large number of 10,000 devour spirit bodies, you will need a large number of blank spirit bodies. Tai Shi said, "The mother and daughter can duplicate Devourer's soul, but you need the Mystic Fusion Heavenly Rune to fuse it into a powerful empty soul body." Qin Yun doesn't want Gong Fian and Kong Feiqing to help because he is afraid of triggering some kind of heavenly tribulation and causing them to suffer heavenly punishment. Qin Yun had copied inscription spirits before, and he also had Xiao Yuemei's help. Every time he was done, he would face a powerful heavenly tribulation. "Brother Tai Shi, do you think there will be a heavenly tribulation or something?" Qin Yun asked. "In the divine wilderness, the nine-yang Dharma spirit is the heavens. Outside of deity desolate, the universe Dharma spirit is the heavens." Tai Shi asked, "Will the nine-yang Dharma spirit attack you?" Qin Yun shook his head. The nine-yang Dharma spirit would definitely not care about such matters. Back then, after the universe Dharma spirit was sealed, Great Luo Empire became the heavens of this cosmos. Now, it is as if Great Luo Empire has been slapped into the mortal world. Qin Yun immediately sent people to the four divine sons to call over Gong Fian, Kong Feiqing, and Yi Yao Xue, as well as Xian Rujing. Qin Yun needs Xian Rujing's help. Even though she is from Divine Moon Clan, she is also ice and snow goddess. Moreover, she frequently uses this identity to move around Divine Desolate. Every time she appeared before, it would always be snowing. She also rarely wears a mask. Therefore, her appearance is always breathtaking and can intimidate a group of evil spirits. Furthermore, her ice-cold and proud temperament left a deep impression on many experts. There are not many famous gods in Myriad Realm's Divine Palace, and Xian Rujing is one of them. Not only she is beautiful, she is also very unique. Even Great Luo's crown prince said that he wants to obtain this ice and snow goddess. Even though Gong Fian and Kong Feiqing are mother, they are becoming more and more like sisters. Even though they both have Gemini Heavenly Rune, their temperament and temperament are not exactly the same. Kong Feiqing is still mature and charming. Even though Gong Fian is gorgeous and moving, in front of her mother, she is like a pure and innocent young girl. Because they have Gemini Heavenly Rune, they are often asked by Jianling Long and other inscription masters to help them in Divine Moon Clan. They are very proficient in inscription. They are very experienced in copying all kinds of strange things. Big Sister Kong, long time no see. Now you have the feeling of a venerable master, Qin Yun said with smile. Little brother, don't laugh at big sister. What venerable master? Big sister is not worthy of such a title. Kong Feiqing gently smiled, pulled Qin Yun's hand, and inquired about his well-being. She also pulled over her yin-yin and asked Qin Yun to take a look at her cultivation situation. Both of them are not battle-type now. They also need to unceasingly increase their divine cosmos power. Only like this can their Gemini, heavenly rune, become stronger. Qin Yun gave them 5th-generation bloodline heavenly rune awakening talisman so that they can upgrade their bloodline heavenly rune one step further. Both mother and daughter are very happy because this will allow their divine cosmos power to increase by 1 level. They are now 8th level divine space realm. Their divine cosmos power is not very high, only about 80,000. And Qin Yun is also 7th level divine space realm. His divine cosmos power is more than 110,000, far surpassing them by 1 level. Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian are staying in the same floor of Golden Claw Treasure Land's 9 Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda. They are undergoing bloodline heavenly rune evolution inside. Qin Yun wants to construct several large-scale awakening formation, mainly using formation pillars. He will give 1 to Divine Moon Clan, 1 to each of the 4 Divine Suns, and 1 to 9 Dragon Kingdom. This way he won't need to make large amount of awakening talismans. While Gong Fian and Kong Feiqing are evolving their bloodline heavenly rune, Xian Rujing, Yi Yaoxiwe, and Qin Yun are having a very sweet reunion in another floor of 9 Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda. Big Sister Rujing, I feel like your legs have grown a bit longer. Is this my misconception? Qin Yun said with smile. Inside the bath, Xian Rujing is stretching out her long leg and proudly smiling. She is the ice goddess. Every time she appears outside, she is a kind of cold, elegant, and peerless style imposing manner. But in front of Qin Yun, she is a charming and flirtatious wine goddess. She is holding a pot of wine in her hand. Her cheeks are rosy from drinking. She looks even more blurred and moving. Yi Yaoxiwe curled her lips and said, she is comparing the length of legs with Big Sister Star God. She used many methods to make her legs grow a bit longer. Xiao Yun, you call me here this time, other than missing me. Is there any other matter? Xian Rujing drank a mouthful of wine and then handed it over to Yi Yaoxiu. Yaoxiu's mysterious fusion heavenly rune can help you. I don't have any heavenly rune, but I can release ice spirits and snow spirits. Yi Yaoxiu took the wine and drank a mouthful. Then she said with angry smile, Big Sister Rujing, you must not release those 2 spirits by any means. Chapter 31:53. Even though Yi Yaoxiu has become stronger over the years, she has not changed much. She is still the same senior sister Yi. The only change is that after she found her lover, her entire being became even more alluring. She often helped Divine Moon Clan with all kinds of things, whether it be growing medicinal ingredients or runes. All of them require her mysterious fusion heavenly rune. Now she is doing her best to cultivate her spirit clone. She wants them to also have mysterious fusion heavenly rune. After all, she has Kong Feiqing and Gong Fian cultivating Sun and Moon Heart Sutra with her. If it were ordinary spirit clone, she would have already cultivated it long ago. Yi Yaoxiu drank a mouthful of wine. Xian Rujing's wine is always so tasty. After following Xian Rujing for a long time, she is now half a drunkard. You have spirit clone? I will also have it in the future. Yi Yaoxiu giggled and said, but I only have 1 waist. Qin Yun said with smile, then grabbed the wine jug from Yi Yaoxiu's hand and drank a mouthful. Xiao Yun, I can fight very well now. Don't treat me like a pampered girl. Xian Rujing arrived beside Qin Yun, leaned on his shoulder, and began caressing the water inside the bath. Sister Rujing, I want to make you stronger. I need your ice and snow divine power. Qin Yun kissed Xian Rujing's face and said, you don't need to fight, just summon super strong blizzard. This will have to be coordinated with Luo Luo. Luo Yaofeng is wind god. Her wind and Xian Rujing's ice and snow can create very dreadful blizzard. Naturally, Luo Yaofeng is not in the four divine sons. Otherwise, Qingyun would have called her over. Luo went to Phoenix Kingdom. I don't know when she will return. Without her, I can also create very strong blizzard. Xian Rujing is very confident. Her feelings for Qingyun are very deep, so she will do her best to help Qingyun. And I will make you stronger. Qingyun laughed, then took out Divine King Heavenly Seal and said, I will first help you obtain 5th generation bloodline Heavenly Rune. Since they are all his women, he can directly use Divine King Heavenly Seal on them. He doesn't need awakening talismans. It will save him a lot of trouble. Naturally, Xian Rujing's current Divine Cosmos power is far from enough. She needs to grow to the same level as Xia Wufeng and Su Xiaoba. This required him to place her in a treasured land. The treasured land that Xia Wufeng and the others had used before was almost ready to be used again. Long Shu and the other women in the Golden Claw treasure land have not succeeded yet, but when they come out, they will be another powerful force. Long Shu and Long Xiaofeng's importance is to unify the dragon clan once again. The dragon race was a very powerful race in the Divine Desolate. If they could unify the dragon race and obtain powerful bloodline heavenly runes, their power could not be underestimated. Qingyun would secretly support Long Shu, allowing her to control sufficient resources to obtain the loyalty of the various patriarchs of the dragon race. Back then, the All Heavens Dragon Emperor had the support of the Nine Yang Dharma Spirit and the Heavenly Fate Dragon Lake to unify the entire dragon race. But now, the various races of the dragon tribe could not see any hope of unification. Yi Yaoxue and the others have finished evolving their bloodline heavenly runes. Next, they will help Qingyun duplicate 10,000 Devour. Qingyun arranged for Kong Feiqing and the other 2 women to enter a luxurious secret room inside the Heavenly Law altar. They can see the outside from the window here. It is not that boring. Moreover, there is a teleportation formation that can directly teleport them back to Divine Moon Heaven City's Guanghan Palace. Qingyun brought Xian Rujing to a spacious lake inside a treasure land. A lake can accommodate many people. Xian Rujing is not the only one entering the lake. She is also releasing her ice spirits and snow spirits. Knowing that she will be entering the lake for a period of time, she is somewhat reluctant to part with Qingyun. Qinzhong and his other brothers have already come out of the lake. They are as powerful as Ba Taiyin and the others. They are currently in charge of leading the team to patrol the treasure lands. Qingyun quickly refined a sun-suppressing divine arrow. This is the one he improved. It is much stronger than the original one. In a short period of one day, Qingyun refined 5 arrows. Then he took out the heaven-leaping shuttle and left with Monkey King, Ba Taiyin, and Su Xiaoba. Xia Wufeng is still in the Golden Claw treasure land. He is in charge of guarding this place and arranging for the Myriad Realms Divine Court to come over. Although the Golden Claw treasure land is under the threat of Strange Cat Kingdom and Heavenly Scorpion Kingdom's fleet, it can be flattened at any time. However, Qingyun is confident that he can block the attack of those battleships. According to Luo Yai's information, Qingyun arrived at the place where the Heavenly Scorpion battleships are gathered. Most of Heavenly Scorpion Kingdom's battleships are staying in the deep space. Only a few have entered Myriad Heaven's Divine Desolate. Battleships also need to absorb energy, especially the energy core of the battleship. It is the core of the little Divine Sunday. Therefore, the battleships are flying around the Myriad Realms Divine Sun to absorb the energy of the Myriad Realms Divine Sun to replenish the energy consumed by the energy core. Although Qingyun could not enter the Divine Sun and was restricted by the 9 Suns Lost Spirit, it was not a problem for him to stay outside. Master, you want to destroy the battleships? Su Xiaoba asked. He knows that Heavenly Scorpion Kingdom will soon send battleships over. No. I want to steal the battleship. I want to find the weak point of the battleship and see how I can easily attack inside, Qingyun said. Qingyun arrived outside the 5 Divine Suns. Luo Yaya said, that Heavenly Scorpion Kingdom has battleships outside the 5 divine suns to replenish the energy core. What is inside the 5 divine suns? 9-sun Kuan Peng, Imperial Demon Yao, and 9-sun Kuan Peng are inside the 5 divine suns. Qin Yin has not seen Yu Yao Yao for a while. He wants to know how strong she is now. She can definitely advance by leaps and bounds inside the divine sun. Yu Yao Yao can become stronger, even faster through the 9-sun Kuan Peng. Actually, she doesn't need to become stronger. 9-sun Kuan Peng's protection is enough. Qin Yun arrived outside the 5 divine suns and fiddled with a soul-chasing talisman. He wants to use this talisman to link with the talisman in Yu Yao Yao's hand and let her know that he is outside. Qin Yun tried for a long time and finally got a reaction. Yu Yao Yao has indeed come out. Every time this red-haired and pink-eyed beautiful woman appears in front of Qin Yun, she gives off an unreal feeling of bewitching beauty. Qin Yun, what are you doing here? There are many kingdoms' battleships in the vicinity. It is very dangerous. Yu Yao Yao entered the heaven-leaping shuttle. Where is young Kuan Peng? Qin Yun asked. How is his current condition? His condition is very good. He is still inside the 5 divine suns. Oh, that's right. Big Sister Yang is very good now. She told you not to worry. She also told me to tell you to be careful of Taisher power. Yang Shiryu is inside the core of the 5 divine Sunday. Qin Yun misses her very much, but he can't meet her now. Yao Yao, can you let young Kuan Peng help me swallow a battleship? Qin Yun asked. After young Kuan Peng swallows the battleship, he shouldn't be injured, right? Chapter 31:54. If this was any other place, Qin Yin would not let 9-sun Kuan Peng take such a risk. But this is outside the 5 divine suns. 9-sun Kuan Peng can obtain great power near the 5 divine suns, enough to defend against all kinds of attacks. Moreover, 9-sun Kuan Peng has swallowed the battleship into its stomach. It can be said that it is its home ground. There should be no problem. Young Kuan Peng has not fought for a very long time. It is time to let him adapt to the environment of God Desolate. Although Yu Yao Yao is inside the 5 divine suns, she has received news from ancient Yu clan from time to time. She has some understanding of the current situation of God Desolate. She knows that those battleships are very powerful. 9-sun Kuan Peng can transform into a super huge body. If they clash with those factions with battleships in the future, Kuan Peng will become their main target. After swallowing a battleship, I will enter young Kuan Peng's body. I want to see what kind of method I can use to quickly break the battleship's defense. Qin Yin said, young Kuan Peng has very strong digestive ability. As long as he keeps his body big, even if something happens inside, it will not affect him. Yu Yao Yao said, Su Xiaoba and Monkey King have heard of 9-sun Kuan Peng, but they have never seen one. Now, they know that Qin Yin wants to let 9-sun Kuan Peng steal a battleship by swallowing it. They know how powerful 9-sun Kuan Peng is. 9-sun Kuan Peng can now become very small, but it needs to maintain a huge body to have even stronger defense and attack power. Therefore, after becoming big, it will quickly be discovered by the battleships around the 5 divine suns. Qin Yin has Luo Yai's information. He knows that Heavenly Scorpion Kingdom's battleships have a scorpion pattern on them. The 5 divine suns are very big. The battleships floating around the divine suns are like very fine dust particles. They are completely insignificant. Although the battleships are very big, they are not in a fleet, they are all scattered. If they gather together, they will not be able to quickly absorb enough energy. Young Kuan Peng is golden and dazzling. It looks like a whale, but is not. It also has a pair of very strange wings. They look like fins, but also like wings. After this little guy came out and saw Qin Yin, he became very happy because he remembers that Yang Yang and the others have many delicious things. Qin Yin took out a few dragon peaches for the 9-sun Kuan Peng to eat. Yang Yang and the others successfully planted a very large dragon peach divine tree in the white sun pearl of the 9-sun divine soul. At the same time, they also planted a second and third tree. In the white sun pearl, combined with the white divine yang totem, the dragon peaches could ripen very quickly. It could be said that they could often eat delicious dragon peaches. Even Malheur had now become a little foodie. The difference was that when she ate the fruits, she would mix a lot of divine universe metal stones to eat. Zi Qingsheng and the others, on the other hand, absorbed the power of a few divine suns from the 9 yang divine spirit and combined it with some other things to refine cannonballs. Qin Yun gave them that kind of big furnace. They can use this kind of furnace to refine artillery shells. This cannonball was one of Qin Yun's secret cannonballs. After eating a few dragon peaches, 9 Sun Kunpeng happily agreed to help Qin Yun devour a battleship. Next, Qin Yun controlled the heaven-leaping shuttle to fly outside the 5 divine suns and began searching for Scorpio Kingdom's battleships. This will take some time. Luo Yaya's 200,000 troops are hidden in the mountains near the Golden Claw treasure land. As for her, she returned alone to meet Princess Luo Shu. Big sister, Qin Yun gave this to us. Luo Yaya took out a few awakening talismans given by Qin Yun and excitedly handed them over to Princess Luo Shu. Yaya, you didn't suffer a loss, did you? All right, how is the situation at the Golden Claw treasure land? Why did you say that you have to come back first? Princess Luo Shu is also very concerned about the situation at the Golden Claw treasure land because she has 200,000 soldiers participating in the battle. Luo Yaya quickly told Princess Luo Shu about the situation at the Golden Claw treasure land. After hearing Luo Yaya's words, Princess Luo Shu is very shocked. The Scorpio Kingdom should have already realized that their 500,000 army has been destroyed. They will definitely dispatch their battleships next. After Princess Luo Shu recovered from her shock, she is still worried. Qin Yun's strange move is truly impossible to guard against. The Divine Desolate is his home ground. He said that he doesn't need our soldiers to fight, and he can defeat the Scorpio Kingdom's battleships. Luo Yaya said. Princess Luo Shu is filled with worry and asked, Yaya, he really didn't do anything to you, right? Luo Yaya gently smiled. Big sister, that guy Qin Yun found an excuse to touch my face last time, but that's all. Luo Yaya has long since seen through Qin Yun's careful thoughts. Hem in. Princess Luo Shu lightly snorted. Big sister, are there any problems with the craftsmen? Luo Yaya asked. No problem. I still have a lot of craftsmen in my hands. They can definitely catch up. Princess Luo Shu said, Let's go. We'll go make the arrangements. Princess Luo Shu's base is also very mysterious. It is a very large treasure land, and it is not within the 9 Sun sacred ground. She currently does not have enough strength to enter the 9 Sun sacred ground. She is the same as Phoenix Queen. They both chose to cooperate with a strong race in the Divine Desolate. The difference is that Phoenix Queen is in the 9 Sun sacred ground, and she is cooperating with that strong race on equal terms. Princess Luo Shu obtained the loyalty of a strong race outside the sacred ground. Because the great Luo Empire created the magic mirror, many kingdoms and empires in the Divine Desolate also have it. Qin Yun and the others will not use it. It is very easy to expose themselves or be monitored by the great Luo Empire. The news of Scorpio Kingdom's 500,000 army being secretly intercepted and killed by Qin Yun halfway was spread through the magic mirror. Many secret agents outside the Golden Claw treasure land and people waiting to watch the show are all dumbfounded. The great battle they have been waiting for many days actually did not happen outside the Golden Claw treasure land. Instead, it ended in another place. The most shocking thing is that Scorpio King's beloved general was killed by Qin Yun, and the entire army was killed very quickly. How did Qin Yun do it? After this news spread, the happiest person is Strange Cat King. Haha, that stupid Scorpio King wants to use 300 Scorpio soldiers to attack the Golden Claw treasure land and trample on my Strange Cat Kingdom. Now do you know why flowers are so red? Strange Cat King laughed loudly and said, Back then it was this turtle who ruthlessly ridiculed us. Now it's his turn. Your Majesty, is Scorpio King going to dispatch battleships? How many? A general asked. Not more than 100. They still have some battleships that can't go to the Divine Desolate. This king wants to see how Qin Yun will deal with Scorpio King's battleships. Although those broken battleships of Scorpio people are not much, they have not been destroyed so far. If Qin Yun can really destroy battleships, it will not be a bad thing for us. Strange Cat King said. Chapter 3155. When the old general next to Exotic Cat King heard this, he was confused at first, but after thinking about it carefully, he also felt that if Qin Yun could destroy the Scorpio people's battleship, it would be beneficial to the Exotic Cat Kingdom. The Scorpio people's battleship was relatively poor, but they also had the ability to build battleships. Moreover, they were cheaper than the Exotic Cat Kingdom. In this way, the Scorpio Kingdom's battleship business would definitely surpass the Exotic Cat Kingdom. This is also why the Crown Prince of Great Luo is optimistic about the Scorpio Kingdom. If Qin Yun could really destroy the Scorpio Kingdom's battleship, it would definitely cause a great sensation. Before the power of the universe's law spirit was withdrawn, battleships rarely got destroyed because the defense of each battleship was too strong. However, there was a limit to how strong they were. Even if it was the Scorpio Kingdom's battleship, it was enough to attract the attention of all parties. At that time, the Exotic Cat Kingdom would secretly add fuel to the fire, saying that the Scorpio battleship was cheap, but it couldn't withstand the test. In this way, the Scorpio Kingdom could forget about becoming rich by selling battleships. The Exotic Cat Kingdom had rich experience in building battleships. If they could break into the Golden Claw Treasure Land in the future, and their battleship was not destroyed, it would be a great advertisement and make their battleship even more famous. Your Majesty, if Qin Yun can destroy the Scorpio people's battleship, is it possible for him to destroy ours? The old general asked. Of course it's possible, but our battleship is different from the Scorpio Kingdom's. Our defense is stronger. Even if Qin Yun can break our defense, he won't be shot down. When the Scorpio people attack the Golden Claw Treasure Land, we have to pay attention to how Qin Yun destroys their battleship, so that we can be prepared. Exotic Cat King said very confidently. The old general said with a smile, the arrogance of the Scorpios has brought us such great benefits. We can sit on a mountain and watch the tigers fight. When both sides are badly injured, we will be the biggest winner. At that time, even the Crown Prince of Great Luo will have to curry favor with me. Exotic Cat King faintly smiled. When our Exotic Cat Kingdom goes to the Divine Desolate, we will not be as humble as before. We will be on equal footing with them. Over the years, the various kingdoms had had enough of the Empire's arrogance. Now that such changes had taken place in the world, some of the kingdoms began to have some ideas to resist the Empire. Under the circumstances of the Divine Wilderness, even the Daluo Empire would find it difficult to wipe out all the kingdoms in one fell swoop. Not only was the gods' wasteland huge, but it was also rich in resources. The people of the Great Luo Empire had once been the upper echelons of society, but now they had regressed to the divine space realm, the same level of cultivation as the majority of the kingdom's experts. Even if the Empire's warriors were stronger than the kingdoms, they weren't that much stronger. Coupled with the fact that they had warships, it would be difficult for them to destroy the kingdom. Therefore, this was what gave the empires a headache. If the kingdoms could unite, the empires would have an even bigger headache. Those empires were currently discussing how to instigate the enmity between those kingdoms, making them fight to the death. Although Exotic Cat King's avatar had fought with Qin Yun before, his judgment was very accurate. He knew how terrifying Qin Yun's ability was, so he believed that Qin Yun could destroy the Scorpio Kingdom's battleship. Qin Yun was indeed searching for a way to destroy the warship. Inside the heaven-leaping shuttle, he flew outside the 5 divine suns and found a Scorpio Kingdom's battleship. The Scorpio Kingdom's battleship is very big. It is nearly 2,000 meters long. It has the shape of a scorpion. It is very easy to recognize. Of course, from afar, it looks like a small scorpion. But after getting closer, one can feel how big the battleship is. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye. His vision can penetrate the intense sunlight and see the battleship. He carefully observed. He felt that the Scorpio Kingdom's battleship is very old. But he can be sure that the battleship's defense is very strong. It is constantly activating a protective barrier. The battleship has thick defensive armor. It is made of a large amount of sturdy materials. It is also carved with many runes to release the protective barrier and at the same time increase the armor's defense. Qin Yin ordered Imperial Demon to release the 9-Sun Kuan Peng. After the 9-Sun Kuan Peng went out, it quickly locked onto its target. This seemingly small fish suddenly turned into a strong light beam and shot towards the battleship. Because it is outside the 5 divine suns, the sunlight is very strong. The 9-Sun Kuan Peng became very big above the battleship. It was not discovered by the battleship. The 9-Sun Kuan Peng originally cultivated inside the 5 divine suns. Its aura is very similar to the 5 divine suns. It is even harder to discover. The people inside the Heaven Leaping Shuttle cannot see anything because the light released by the 5 divine suns is too strong. Now the 5 divine suns are becoming bigger and bigger. The light is becoming more and more intense. Only Qin Yun can see that a gigantic phantom has appeared above the Scorpio battleship. Its body is several tens of thousands meters long. The 9-Sun Kuan Peng is still very restrained. It only became this big. Otherwise, with its current cultivation, no one knows how big it can become. The Kuan Peng's mouth is facing the battleship below. It took a deep breath and the battleship was sucked in. And it is that simple. Qin Yun is somewhat dumbfounded looking at it. He suspects that the Scorpio people inside the Scorpio battleship don't even know that they have entered the 9-Sun Kuan Peng's body. Back then, Qin Yun entered the 9-Sun Kuan Peng's body. At that time, he did not know that he was inside the stomach of a giant. Master, did it succeed? Su Xiaoba asked. Succeeded, a battleship was swallowed. Young Kuan Peng took a deep breath, and the battleship was sucked in like a shrimp. Qin Yun said, Holy shit, so awesome, young Kuan Peng. Su Xiaoba's expression is filled with shock. Can he transform into a human? I really hope he can transform into a human, and let me have a good fight with him. Qin Yun slapped his bald head and said with smile, Young Kuan Peng doesn't know how to fight. He only knows how to swallow. Young Kuan Peng also doesn't like to fight. Now he likes to eat more and more. Yu Yaoyao glared at Qin Yun and said with hidden bitterness, It's all your fault. You raised young Kuan Peng's mouth. Now he is sticking to you more and more. Master's wife, young Kuan Peng is yours. Why are you so conflicted? Su Xiaoba picked his nose and curled his lips. But then again, I really have a lot of master's wives. I don't even know how many I have. As long as I see a beautiful woman, I feel that she can be my master's wife. Damn, Baldy, you talk too much. Qin Yun slapped Su Xiaoba's bald head again. Su Xiaoba wanted to dodge, but he was still hit. Yu Yaoyao cannot help but burst into laughter and asked, Brother Batian, then how beautiful do you think I am? This is a suicide question. I will not answer. Su Xiaoba glanced at Qin Yun and then promptly walked away. Let's go attack the battleship. Qin Yun controlled the Heaven Leaping Shuttle and flew towards the 9-Sun Kuan Peng. Chapter 31:56. After approaching the 9-Sun Kuan Peng, Yu Yaoyao took out a pearl and sucked the Sky Leaping Shuttle in. The Sky Leaping Shuttle entered the 9-Sun Kuan Peng's stomach without much movement. It was as if it was slowly entering with a gust of wind. This was the scariest part. After being swallowed by such a huge creature, it was actually very difficult to detect. The Kuan Peng's stomach was also filled with intense sunlight. It was exactly the same as the light mist released by the 5 spirit suns. We are in the young Kuan Peng's stomach. Monkey King looked around and said in shock, Why can't I feel anything? Of course, after being swallowed by the young Kuan Peng, as long as your life is tough, you can live here for tens of thousands of years. Yu Yaoyao said. Qin Yun quickly found the battleship. The battleship seemed to have discovered that it had entered a very strange place. The inside of the Kuan Peng's stomach was very strange. There was a very mysterious power inside. No matter how fiercely one attacked, it would be gently bounced back. It was very difficult to attack from the inside. Furthermore, no matter how one attacked from the inside, the energy would be absorbed. Qinyan could not help but look at Yu Yao Yao. He previously thought that the ancient Yu clan throwing this red-haired, pink-eyed demon to him would not be of much help. He did not expect that the nine-sun Kuan Peng in her hands was a very powerful secret weapon. No wonder Yu Shangyun liked Yu Yao Yao so much. She even accepted her into the Divine Moon clan and allowed her to enter the core area of the Moon Palace. The ancient Yu clan and the other heaven-splitting ancient clans wanted to completely cut off their connection with Qinyan. But that was only for a while. Only then could they surpass the divine space realm. However, they were now extremely depressed. They had just surpassed the divine space realm, but were beaten back again. Therefore, the great Luo Empire's restrictions on them became very weak. And the heaven-splitting ancient clan wanted to become strong. They needed a large number of people with bloodline heavenly patterns. Their bloodline heavenly patterns were restricted. Furthermore, it was a restriction that the great Luo Empire secretly used a secret technique to make it difficult for them to awaken better bloodline heavenly patterns. They could only awaken or use other methods. Qinyan planned on getting Imperial Yao Yao to contact the heaven-splitting ancient race and rope them in. After all, the heaven-splitting ancient race was trustworthy. Their spirit of resisting the barbaric extraterrestrials was very valuable. It was something that Qinyan could never forget. After finding the Sky Scorpion warship, Qinyan immediately took out the God King spear and turned it into a dragon head cannon. Then he placed a sun-suppressing divine arrow into the cannon barrel and shot it out. Let's test this arrow first. Under the escort of Monkey King and Su Xiaoba, Qinyan arrived outside the heaven-leaping shuttle and shot the sun-suppressing divine arrow. The sun-suppressing divine arrow hit the battleship in an instant. During the process of flying, the sun-suppressing divine arrow devoured a lot of energy. After hitting the battleship, the explosive power was indeed astonishing and the commotion was huge. The sky-leaping shuttle was quite a distance away from the battleship, but it was still hit by the shock waves from the explosion. "No, we can't break the defense of the battleship," Qinyan said with a frown. "Its defense is indeed very strong. If dozens of them come to attack the Golden Claw treasured land, it will be very troublesome. We must think of a way to break through it." The moment the Sky Scorpion warship was attacked, it released a very strong defensive barrier. Although the explosion is astonishing, the battleship did not move a bit. Qinyan can see with a glance that the defensive barrier created by the runes of the battleship is very strong. It is similar to a super strong barrier. After the battleship suffered an attack, it became even more vigilant. It released several layers of protective barrier. It looks like it is being wrapped up by several bubbles. Qinyan let Su Xiaoba and Monkey King escort him to quietly approach the battleship. He wants to study the barrier from a close distance. He took out the primal beginning divine mirror and shined it at a close distance. He let Taisher analyze the runes used to create the barrier. Very soon, Taisher made a very big discovery. You can break it. Use your inscription spirit and divine king heavenly seal to imprint a set of runes on the sun, suppressing divine arrow. Taisher said. Qinyan returned to the heaven-leaping shuttle and took out a sun-suppressing divine arrow and divine king heavenly seal. Yu Yao Yao and the others are watching from the side. They don't know what Qinyan wants to do. They now know that the battleship's defense is very dreadful and very difficult to break. If they can't find a way, they can only give up the Golden Claw treasured land. After Qinyan finished remodeling the sun-suppressing divine arrow, he once again shot it. This time, the sun-suppressing divine arrow smoothly pierced through the barrier. However, after the sun-suppressing divine arrow hit the outer armor and exploded, it still couldn't break through the battleship's defense. "So hard," Qinyan exclaimed in admiration. Next, he continued remodeling the sun-suppressing divine arrow. He can't meet force with force, So he needs to extract energy from the bloodline heavenly pattern boxes and pour it into the arrowhead. This way, the arrowhead can burst out with extremely strong tearing power. It can penetrate the outer armor with extremely high temperature and destructive power. If he wants to extract this kind of energy from the bloodline heavenly pattern boxes, he will have to use the Divine King Heavenly Seal to extract it. Fortunately, Qin Yun has the 9-sun Divine Soul. There are several Divine Suns inside it, so he can easily extract it. After extracting the energy from the bloodline heavenly pattern, Qin Yun very quickly remodeled the sun-suppressing divine arrow. After the sun-suppressing divine arrow was shot, it frantically devoured the energy around it and stored it inside the arrow. This time, the sun-suppressing divine arrow smoothly pierced through the barrier. The arrowhead erupted with destructive power and finally pierced through the outer armor of the battleship and entered the hull. Boom! A large hole appeared in the middle of the huge battleship. Although the arrow can't completely destroy the battleship, it can break through the defense and create a hole. The defensive barrier is formed by the runes on the battleship's armor. After the battleship's hull was damaged, the defensive barrier was also damaged. Although it is still there, its defensive power has dropped by a lot. The defense inside the battleship is very limited. Next, Qin Yun lets Su Xiaoba and the others use the dragon head cannon to fire the cannons. A large number of cannons flew out as if they have eyes. They automatically rushed into the hole and entered the battleship and exploded. Very soon, a battleship was destroyed. The Scorpio people inside fled in fear and then were killed by the cannon's bloodline heavenly pattern flame. There are 2 energy cores inside the battleship. They're the cores of small divine suns. Qin Yun's 9-sun divine soul has a formidable divine sun, so he doesn't care about these small divine sun cores. He left them inside the Kuan Peng as food. The fragments of the battleship have been collected by Qin Yun and the others. There is also a large number of divine universe heavenly bones. They have all been collected by Qin Yun. Very smooth. Next, I will go back and make even bigger sun-suppressing divine arrow. Maybe one arrow will be able to pierce through the battleship. Qin Yun said with smile. Do you want small Kuan Peng to help you? Yu Yaoyao asked. No need. You two continue cultivating inside the 5 divine suns. I will let you and small Kuan Peng obtain the 5th generation bloodline heavenly rune. After obtaining the 5th generation bloodline heavenly rune, he will need to absorb even more energy. Qin Yun said. After Qin Yun made arrangements for 9-sun Kuan Peng and Yu Yaoyao, he immediately returned to the Golden Claw treasure land. At this time, Scorpio Kingdom's 50 battleships have already set off towards the Golden Claw treasure land. Chapter 3157. Phoenix Emissary Chapter 3157. Phoenix Emissary Qin Yun's operation outside 5 God Sun is very secretive. Scorpio Kingdom doesn't know about it. The situation outside the 5 God Sun is very complicated and very vast. It is impossible for spies to investigate everything outside the 5 God Sun Day. Even if Scorpio Kingdom lost a battleship, they won't be able to detect it in a short time. It is not necessarily safe outside Divine Sun. Sometimes unexpected situations occur. For example, a Divine Sun erupts with energy wave or a powerful light beam suddenly erupts from a certain place. All of these can destroy a battleship. If an ordinary Divine Sun erupts, its power will be very dreadful, let alone this kind of super Divine Sunday. Qin Yun used the heaven-leaping shuttle and very quickly returned to Golden Claw Treasure Land. Luo Yaya came here before. She came through the teleportation formation. Although Qin Yun is not here, she left a very important message for Xia Wufeng. Old boy Yun, Scorpio people's battleship has set off. Miss Yaya asked me to tell you that they will arrive in about half a month. Xia Wufeng said, I know, there is still enough time. Qin Yun nodded. Xia Wufeng is not worried anymore after hearing Qin Yun's words. Long Shu, Long Tianji Long Xiaofeng and Long Yuqing are at the lake in the middle of Golden Claw Treasureland. These four beautiful and formidable dragon ladies have all successfully transformed and become very powerful. They have also obtained 5th-generation dragon bloodline, heavenly runes. Although Long Yuqing is very mischievous and eccentric like Xiao Yuanmei, she is very warlike. She came out of the lake and immediately went to fight Xia Wufeng. Both of them are evenly matched. Actually, Xia Wufeng is a bit better because he is not using his origin sword. Long Shu and the other dragon ladies are more than strong enough. Dragon race patriarchs are not as strong as them. Long Shu is a tree dragon. She is not a purebred dragon. Long Tianji is a dragon spider. Long Xiaofeng is originally a human, but because of her dragon martial spirit and phoenix martial spirit, she is also a half-dragon person. Only Long Yuqing is a purebred dragon. However, pure-blooded dragons only made up a small portion of the dragon race in the divine wilderness. The rest were mixed-blooded dragons, also known as the mutated dragon race. There were also some dragonmen and other races with a small amount of dragon bloodline in their bodies. Long Xiaofeng and the others are not purebred dragons. This is even better because they can prove to the other dragon race that anyone with dragon bloodline can obtain 5th-generation dragon bloodline, heavenly runes. Although Scorpio Kingdom's fleet is about to arrive, Qin Yun did not let Long Shu and others participate in the battle. Instead, he let them take some awakening talismans and head to various dragon race tribes to convince them to recognize her as the new All-Heavens Dragon Emperor. Long Shu used to be a dragon king. Back then, she had a decent status among the All-Heavens dragons and was rather famous. Furthermore, she was a tree dragon born from the dragon bloodline heavenly pattern box. So she becomes the new dragon king. Many people will. Tian Dragon King. Long Xiaofeng and the others knew that the fleet was going to attack the Golden Claw treasured land. Adding on the fact that they had become so strong, they wanted to stay and help. Qiu Long Lien Su Dragon Tian Shao Tian Spirit is Tian Long has to say. Because after the war with Scorpio Kingdom, the war with Strange Cat Kingdom will soon begin. At that time, they will need help the most. Qin Yun is not worried about Scorpio Kingdom's fleet. He is now preparing for Strange Cat Kingdom's fleet. The inscription God Mountain and the Sky Universe Overlord have already emerged from the lake. The inscription God Mountain returned to the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Its outer appearance was a dazzling golden. This was because it had evolved from fusing a massive amount of divine universe heavenly bone into it. Therefore, a kind of tree has evolved inside Divine Inscription Mountain. So long as Divine Inscription Mountain absorbs the energy of myriad realms' divine sun, the fruit trees inside Divine Inscription Mountain will bear divine universe heavenly bone fruits. Naturally, their growth speed will be very slow, but the fruits will be enough for Divine Inscription Mountain to refine other things. When necessary, Divine Inscription Mountain and Sky Overlord will go to battle. They're all secret weapons. Divine Inscription Mountain's main purpose is to help forge all kinds of equipment, as well as make cannonballs. Or it can roam around the treasure lands and maintain the defensive formation. Xian Rujing is still at the bottom of the lake. Her growth is also very important. Qin Yun is drawing a blueprint inside the Nine Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda. It is the blueprint of a kind of divine arrow. He named it 10,000 God Devouring Arrow. Now he wants to improve it in many aspects. Moreover, he wants to make it even bigger. Of course, this also requires a large amount of divine, universe, heavenly bone to forge. Not long after Qin Yun finished drawing the blueprint, Yu Shangyun finally arrived. He guessed that Yu Shangyun is about to arrive. Moreover, she is coming together with Phoenix Kingdom's people. Tainba brought Phoenix Kingdom's female emissary, Yu Shangyun, outside the Nine Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda. After they entered the Nine Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda, they took off their masks. The female emissary's appearance is ordinary, but her temperament is very good. Moreover, she has a very strong aura around her body. This is Phoenix King's capable General Chu Limin. General Chu has participated in all kinds of great battles. Yu Shangyun said, in kingdoms and empires, generals are people with very high status. They're no ministers or anything like that. The operation of empires and kingdoms are handled by the emperor's subordinates, generals, and other nobles. For empires and kingdoms, fighting strength is the biggest guarantee. Therefore, generals have very high status. They can become nobles and participate in the operation of kingdoms and empires. Greetings, General Chu. Qin Yun greeted politely with a smile. Your Excellency, God King. Our Phoenix King is willing to secretly cooperate with you, but we will not help you without limit. Moreover, we need you to communicate with our Phoenix Kingdom and understand each other. Although Chu Limin did not smile, her tone was very calm and her words were very clear. After all, she is a great general and a super expert that far surpassed the divine universe realm. She has killed countless people. For her to have such an attitude at this moment, it can be considered very polite. Cooperation is supposed to be mutually beneficial, Qin Yun said with a smile. Then, General Chu, you came here for the matter of the Sky Scorpion Fleet, right? Chu Limin nodded and said, after Phoenix King discussed with us core generals, we believe that Your Excellency God King, giving up on all the treasured lands and hiding is the most appropriate. What if we don't give up? Qin Yun asked. If you don't plan to retreat, we are willing to support you with 1 trillion divine universe golden stones and 200,000 elite soldiers. Chu Limin said again. Qin Yun looked at Yu Shangyun in surprise. He did not expect Phoenix Kingdom to be willing to help him so much. One had to know that the upper echelons of the Phoenix Kingdom did not think highly of him. Yu Shangyun nodded at Qin Yun, indicating that he could rest assured and make his choice. She believed in him. General Chu, thank you very much for your support. I don't need a single soldier from you. I will accept the divine universe golden stones. In addition, I need your craftsmen to help me forge the tools I need before the fleet attacks. Qin Yun immediately took out the blueprint of the myriad god-devouring arrow and handed it over to Chu Limin. Chapter 3158. From the blueprint, it can be seen that it is a very large arrow. It is several tens of meters long and requires a lot of materials. Divine Universe Heavenly Bone will be provided. As for the other materials, I will return them to you later. Qin Yun said, we will provide the other materials for free. Chu Limin said, in my opinion, this kind of arrow can't damage the Scorpio warship. Chu Limin and Scorpio Kingdom often fight, so she is very clear about the situation of the Scorpio warship. They have tried many methods, but none of them could damage the warship. Not only them, other kingdoms have also been studying how to break the warship's defense. Qin Yun used a large amount of Divine Universe Heavenly Bone to create the arrow and then added runes or other things with strong explosive power. However, it still didn't have much effect. At most, it could only shake the warship a bit. I have my own way. General Chu, I am very surprised that your Phoenix Kingdom is willing to help us. Qin Yun said with a smile. Because Your Excellency Divine King annihilated the Scorpio army of 500,000, we acknowledge your strength. Phoenix King has a very high evaluation of you. She can't leave Nine Sun Holy Land, so she didn't come personally. Chu Limin said. Qin Yun suddenly felt that Chu Limin's identity is not simple. Because she directly called Phoenix Queen Phoenix King, this kind of address is somewhat disrespectful. It can be seen that on one hand, Phoenix Queen is very casual and doesn't care what others call her. On the other hand, it can be seen that Chu Limin's original status is even higher than Phoenix Queen's. Your sincerity is very high. I also have to show my sincerity. Qin Yun took out a box and handed it to Chu Limin. After Chu Limin opened the box, she saw a head and her pupils shrank. Yu Shangyun is also somewhat astonished and asked, whose head is this? The person our Phoenix Kingdom has always wanted to kill. Very good, very good. Chu Limin said to Qin Yun, I am very grateful to Your Excellency Divine King for this generous gift. Phoenix King will definitely be very happy. She knows that Qin Yun subdued General Meng Kai, so it is very normal for Qin Yun to know about the hatred between Phoenix Kingdom and Scorpio Kingdom. Soon after, Qin Yun took out 3 awakening talismans and said, "These can allow you to obtain 5th generation bloodline heavenly rune. This talisman is rather difficult to make, so I only have these for now." Chu Limin naturally knew that Qin Yun could bestow bloodline heavenly runes to others, but she never expected that Qin Yun could bestow a 5th generation bloodline heavenly rune to others. The upper echelons of the Phoenix Kingdom all knew about the awakening talisman. This was also the reason why they were willing to secretly cooperate with Qin Yun. "Stick it on your body, and you can use it. The effect should be very good." Qin Yun briefly explained how to use it. The Phoenix Kingdom also had a Grand Prime faction behind them. The process of bestowing bloodline heavenly runes to others was extremely complicated and inconvenient. Qin Yun's talisman was extremely convenient. It looked much more brilliant than the Taisher faction's talismans. "Thank you," Chu Limin said. "We will forge what Your Excellency the Divine King needs before the Scorpio Kingdom's fleet arrives." Qin Yun ordered 100 of those arrows. It was not too difficult to build, especially for the Phoenix Kingdom. After all, it was a kingdom from a mid-tier heaven-earth kingdom. They had many craftsmen and were very experienced. The Nine-Dragon Kingdom can also help, but they were ambushed and suffered great losses. Therefore, Qin Yun did not look for them. When Chu Limin was about to leave, Qin Yun gave her a teleportation array pillar. It can teleport from a long distance to the Golden Claw Treasure Land. Chu Limin is very surprised to see that Qin Yun has this kind of teleportation array. Even their Phoenix Kingdom and Great Luo Empire are unable to build teleportation arrays. Originally, the space in the Divine Wilderness had been restricted by the Daluo Empire. However, the Nine Suns Lost Spirit had added another layer of restrictions. As a result, the Daluo Empire could only create things like the demonic mirror that could transmit information through space. They were still unable to pass through space. Chu Limin left on her own. Yu Shangyun is still in the Nine-Sun Heaven raising pagoda. "Sister Shangyun, many thanks for finding such a good ally," Qin Yun said with smile. "Yun, can we win this battle?" While speaking, Yu Shangyun also took off her armor. Qin Yun also walked over. He gently hugged the fragrant Divine Moon Empress and kissed her red lips. He said with smile, "Of course we can win. Not only Scorpio Kingdom, I also want to win Strange Cat Kingdom." "I believe you." Although Yu Shangyun doesn't smile much, the deep love in her heart turned into a gentle and wonderful fragrance that gushed out and wrapped around Qin Yun, causing him to be intoxicated and confused. Qin Yun and the intoxicated Yu Shangyun slept for half a day. She wants to return to 4 Divine Sons because Heavenly Moon Ancient Clan has sent people to 4 Divine Sons. Granny Taiwe has something to discuss with her. She also knows that Qin Yun will give them a great formation that can allow Divine Moon women to obtain the 5th generation bloodline Heavenly Rune. Qin Yun just used the Divine King Heavenly Seal to bestow her with the 5th generation bloodline Heavenly Rune. The two of them even cultivated together for a short period of time. After sending off Yu Shangyun, Qin Yun is now a lot more relieved. Divine Moon Race smoothly allied with Phoenix Kingdom and even sent troops to help him defend against Scorpio Kingdom's attack. This means that Yu Shangyun has taken care of Phoenix Queen. Earlier on the bed, Yu Shangyun also told him some things about Phoenix Kingdom, such as Chu Limin. Chu Limin was originally a general of Great Luo Empire. Her mother was a concubine of Great Luo Heavenly Emperor, so she also has Great Luo Heavenly Emperor's blood in her body. She's also Princess Luo Shu's half-sister. Phoenix Kingdom and Great Luo Empire's relationship was very good back then, but it gradually deteriorated. Before that, Phoenix Queen and Chu Limin had an extremely good relationship. As for why Chu Limin joined Phoenix Kingdom and Phoenix Queen's background, Yu Shangyun did not know. Qin Yun planned to ask Luo Yaya. After all, Phoenix Queen is his ally, so he needs to understand more about his allies. Luo Yaya is currently delivering huge cannons and huge pill transformation heavenly furnace. After she delivered the things, she was pulled into the nine sun sky raising pagoda by Qin for a secret discussion. Yaya, what is Phoenix Queen's background? I heard that she has a very secret relationship with the great Luo imperial family. Qin asked. Her Highness knows, but she did not tell me. This is a very secret matter. I am also not sure. In short, Phoenix Queen has provoked great Luo Empire and the Crown Prince many times, but great Luo Empire has never retaliated. Luo Yaya said, It's not that great Luo Empire is afraid of her. It's that our Heavenly Emperor has ordered that we are not allowed to attack Phoenix Kingdom. Then Scorpio Kingdom and the other kingdoms, can they all attack Phoenix Kingdom? Qin asked. It used to be possible, but now I don't dare to. Phoenix Kingdom is very strong, Luo Yaya said. Qin, did Phoenix Kingdom send troops to support you? Chapter 31:59. Qin had already told Princess Luo Shu that he was the Divine Moon Emperor. He had asked Yu Shangyun to cooperate with the Phoenix Queen. Therefore, Luo Yaya believed that if the Phoenix Kingdom was truly willing to cooperate with Qin, they would definitely express it. Yes, it was General Chu Limin who came to talk to me. She gave me 1 trillion Divine Universe Gold Stones and 200,000 soldiers. But she still advised me to retreat. Qin said, full of sincerity. Luo Yaya was a little surprised and said, If General Chu is leading the army, then it means that the Phoenix Queen values you very much. It seems like she also recognizes you as the Divine King. Qin said with a smile, Sister Yaya, don't worry. Whether it's Princess Luo Shu or the Phoenix Queen, I will treat them equally. I will definitely not be biased. These words sounded a little strange to Luo Yaya. Her Royal Highness has used the awakening talisman you gave her. The effect is very good. After you stabilize, we are willing to buy it from you at a high price. Luo Yaya said, Actually, I can make a grand formation that can help people obtain 5th generation bloodline, heavenly runes in batches. Qin said, This is much more convenient than creating those talismans. My formations will definitely be much better than those of Grand Prime organizations. That would be great. Luo Yaya was looking forward to it and said, Okay, I'm going back. If I make the latest furnaces and dragon head cannon, I'll send them over. Wait, I have another question. Qin said, It's about the Destroyer. What kind of existence is the Destroyer of your Daluo Empire? The Destroyers are the most powerful warriors under the Celestial Emperor's command. If a Destroyer is dispatched, it is the highest order of the Celestial Emperor of Origin Luo. Luo Yaya frowned. Did you encounter one? Qin waved his hand and said, No, I heard from Menkai that Destroyer is looking for a lass from the exotic cat kingdom, the white-eared, cat-eared person. Do you know about this? He had asked Menkai before, but Menkai only knew that Malur was the daughter of a member of the royal family of the Daluo Empire and a mystical cat. Luo Yaya's expression changed, and she whispered, Have you seen that little girl? He had to admit that Luo Yaya's intuition was very accurate. I have met her before. Of course, Qin would not directly say that Malur was with him. This little girl is very important. Luo Yaya said with a serious expression, I'm not too sure about the specific situation. Her Highness knows, but she did not disclose it to me. Does the exalted Celestial Emperor want to kill or capture her? Qin asked. Of course it's to capture her. As for why, I'm also very curious. It's not my place to ask about the matters of the royal family, Luo Yaya said. All right, you go back first. Qin sent Luo Yaya out of the nine-sun heaven raising pagoda. He wants to use the Divine King Heavenly Seal to carve runes on the Dragon Head Cannon and the huge pill transformation Heavenly Furnace. After having runes, he will have even stronger ability. This kind of large Dragon Head Cannon was installed outside the Divine Inscription Mountain. The Divine Inscription Mountain can be moved and is extremely flexible. Furthermore, It has a lot of energy stored in its body. It can also connect to the divine universe golden stones beneath the treasure land and absorb energy from underground. When Qin Yun fires the gigantic myriad god devouring arrow, it will be fired through the divine mountain. Exotic Cat King could no longer sit still. He created a clone and brought the two generals to the outside of the Golden Claw treasured land. He once again arrived at the Golden Claw treasured land. Looking at the huge treasure land occupied by Qin Yun, he felt full of humiliation. Outside the Golden Claw treasured land, he met up with the Exotic Cat Kingdom in a small house floating in the air. In many people's opinion, Qin Yun should have abandoned the Golden Claw treasured land and fled for his life. Because even if he could block the Scorpio Kingdom's attack, he would not be able to block the Exotic Cat Kingdom's. However, Qin Yun did not leave. It means that he has the confidence to defeat those battleships. Exotic Cat King has a very good understanding of battleships. He has experienced countless big and small battles with his huge fleet. Very few battleships have been breached. It must be known that those were battles between middle-rank Heavenly Earth kingdoms. The warriors who participated in those battles were all experts who surpassed the divine space realm, yet they were still unable to destroy battleships. Not to mention that in the divine desolate, the strongest was only the 9th level of the divine space realm. How could they do anything to those battleships? However, Exotic Cat King and Qin Yun have fought before. According to his judgment, Qin Yun would absolutely not fight the Scorpio Kingdom without full confidence. Therefore, he wanted to see for himself. If Qin Yun really had a chance to destroy the Scorpio Kingdom's battleships, then he would be able to see how Qin Yun would destroy them. This way, the Exotic Cat Kingdom's fleet would be prepared. The spies outside the Golden Claw treasured land are already used to it. Because every time Qin Yun was attacked by others, he would be the center of attention. Because all parties wanted to see how the famous Divine King of the Divine Desolate would resist the attack of the Scorpio Kingdom. Although the Scorpio Kingdom only has 50 battleships, they are all very huge. Flying at high speed in the sky, a burst of loud noise could be heard from far away, causing the air to churn. Qin Yun was already prepared. However, after the Scorpio Kingdom's fleet arrived, they did not immediately launch an attack on the Golden Claw treasured land. Instead, they floated far away and did not approach the Golden Claw treasured land. Luo Yaya and Chu Limin came to the Golden Claw treasured land on behalf of their bosses to show their sincerity. What surprised Qin Yun is that Chu Limin did not recognize Luo Yaya, the pavilion master of the Dark Shadow Pavilion. Luo Yaya did not speak beside Qin Yun. She even took off her mask, looking like Qin Yun's attendant. Chu Limin did not ask anything. Qin Yun also did not tell her that Luo Yaya is Princess Luo Shu's subordinate. In the past 10 days, Chu Limin has been continuously sending over those huge myriad devouring god arrows. She thinks that these huge arrows are unable to destroy the battleships. What she doesn't know is that Qin Yun also made all kinds of modifications. The most formidable part of the weapons is the power of runes. The runes Qin Yun added are the most dreadful. Chu Limin found a tall mountain inside the Golden Claw treasured land and looked at the direction of the Scorpio battleships. She let Qin Yun enter the Divine Inscription Mountain. The Divine Inscription Mountain has a total of 20 super dragon head cannons. The cannon barrels are tens of meters long. They can be filled with several meter diameter cannonballs or tens of meters long myriad devouring god arrows. Tian Daozi is also inside the Divine Inscription Mountain. Xiao Wufeng, Monkey King, and others are also here. Tian Daozi, those battleships are very strong, but I don't think you need to block them. It will consume a lot of resources. Qin Yun said with smile, we have to pretend that it is very difficult to defeat the Scorpio Kingdom's fleet. If we act very powerful, Strange Cat King will definitely not dare to come. Master, Sister Yaya, and General Chu are still outside. Will they be all right? I told them that if the barrier of the Golden Claw treasured land is breached, they should immediately escape. Qin Yun said, the construction inside the Golden Claw treasured land is very good. There are many buildings. If the barrier is breached, those buildings will definitely be destroyed. Qin Yin previously asked the divine judge to call over many people from the Four Gods' Sun to build a large number of buildings. He wants to make the scene of the Golden Claw treasured land being destroyed. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.